Laboon stopped hitting the mountain. It recalls the day when he parted from the Rumba pirates. Every partner came over and told him to take care of himself, eat well, and sleep well. But now, is it eating well? Sleeping well? Did it take good care of itself? Huge round eyes look at Luffy. Laboon is a little dazed. Your name is Laboon. That smelly old man told me about you, but he didn't go out to sea with the Rumba pirates. How could he know about the Rumba pirates? Listen, I feel that you are very similar to my little friend. But you, not as good as my little friend trusts me. If you also trust your friends, you should eat well, sleep well, and take good care of yourself, so that when your friends return, they will be happy. Laboon obviously understood. His body sank a bit, and he stopped hitting the mountain. Great. Since you are willing to listen to me, let's make an agreement. I happen to be going around the Grand Line for a week. Along the way, I will help you find out about the Rumba pirates. Whether or not I find any news about them, I will eventually come back to see you and bring you the news. And you have to learn from my friends. Take care of yourself. Don't let yourself get hurt. Waiting for the return of your friends with the best self. If you accept this promise, pat my hand with your tail. Speaking, Luffy stretched his right arm and inflated his fist at the same time, turning into a fist as big as a hot air balloon. Ang, ang, ang. Laboon tossed and plunged into the sea. Its tail flicked over, and Luffy's fist gave a high five. This scene made Crocus look stupid. How many years since Laboon started banging his head on the mountain? Crocus has been persuading, and nothing works. But he never expected that it took Luffy less than half an hour to convince Laboon to stop self-harming completely. Several years of hard work are not as good as others' half an hour of performance. In such a comparison, Crocus feels like a waste. Roger. It seems that this is the pirate we are waiting for, right? Looking at Luffy playing with Laboon, Crocus muttered to himself. Afterwards, Crocus gave Luffy his record pointer, and Luffy and his party left Cape Twins and continued on their way. Here, the screen with the red border gradually dimmed. Nami. He can tell stories. Vinsmoke Sanji. This story is so well told. Successfully saved that whale. Brook. Although the story is made up, for me, this is exactly what our Rumba pirates really thought at the time. Before dying, we were still worrying about whether Laboon had a good meal, and whether he sleep well. Everyone can't go back and watch it. Everyone pins their hopes on me. For others, the story is also moving, but for Brook, it's all about the inner thoughts of their Rumba pirates. Monkey D. Luffy. How did I come up with this method over there? It's much better than my method. People can grow up, and so does Luffy, although I'm a little idiot, but once I experience something, I will always grow up. The comparison of the Mary in the movie viewing system touched Luffy a lot. Especially now that the ship spirit on the Mary has been revived, Luffy's state of mind has changed a lot. He began to realize that sometimes his nonsense should be restrained. It's like persuading Laboon about this matter. Although what he did on a whim effectively prevented Laboon from self-harming, he ignored the feelings of the Mary. If I hadn't watched the comparison video now, I'm afraid Luffy would never realize the damage he caused to the Melly in this lifetime. Not long, the screen with white borders gradually lights up. The Straw Hat Pirates and their party left Cape Twin. First arrived at Whiskey Hill, the 100 Little Agents of Zoro vs. Baroque Work Agency. The Straw Hat Pirates learned the true identity of Princess Vivi and decided to help her. Afterwards, their ship came to Little Garden and met the giants Dory and Brozer. After fighting the agent of Baroque Works, successfully defeated the other party, and then left Little Garden. On the way, Nami developed a fever, and the group headed to Magnetic Drum Island, where medicine is developed. With the help of the witch doctor girl Kaleva, Nami's situation gradually improved. When leaving Magnetic Drum Island, the Straw Hat Pirates kidnapped Chopper and successfully recruited a new partner. Everything is like what the Straw Hat Pirates experienced. Taze. The screen with the red border slowly lit up. Luffy and his team arrived at the next island, Whiskey Island, relying on the record pointer given by Crocus. Long live the warriors of the sea. Welcome town, Whiskey Hill. Welcome to our town. Welcome to the Great Route. Just arrived at the port of Whiskey Hill, Luffy and his party were warmly welcomed. Huh? There are so many people. They are all welcoming us? Usopp widened his eyes and said in surprise. Sanji frowned. What's the situation? What happens? Nami ran out of the cabin and asked curiously. Then, she was pleasantly surprised. Are the people in this place so enthusiastic? However, Luffy smiled lightly. Of course not. They should have malicious intentions. Vinsmoke Sanji. Nani? Is Luffy over there so intuitive? Roronoa Zoro. How do you tell? Usopp. Hey. The me over there is the same as I was back then, quite proud of myself. Nami. No way. So you know those people have bad intentions? Hearing this, Nami's excited expression immediately disappeared, and she looked at Luffy in doubt. Ah? Why do you say that? Luffy explained. At first glance, they are enthusiastic town residents, but there is no town where all the residents are armed, and all of them are hidden very well. From the surface, they are completely naked. Luffy's observation Haki has noticed the weapons on these people. Even the guy who looks like a nun and the guy who looks like a child are wearing guns. Hearing what Luffy said, the people on the boat immediately put away their excitement. I've been treated as a fat sheep, wouldn't it be silly to laugh again? Welcome. This is Whiskey Town, and I am Zylubo, the town here. I know you may be surprised, but Whiskey Town is a town where winemaking and music are very developed, and our tradition here is hospitality. The fine wine we are proud of is as inexhaustible as the seawater. Tonight, we will use your adventure stories as a delicacy. Please allow us to hold a banquet to welcome you. Everyone, can you show me your face? The mayor of Whiskey Hill, Shi Lubo, bowed politely to the merry Monkey D. Luffy. Huh? This mayor is different from the one we met at that time. Nefeltari Vivi. Ah, Luffy, because at that time we hadn't sneaked into the Baroque work club. Nami. Haha. Luffy is an idiot, he doesn't remember. Facing the kind invitation from the town, Shi Lubo, Luffy looked at his nostrils and said lightly, no reward. I'm most afraid of the sudden silence of the air. Everyone present was stunned. As the saying goes, don't reach out and hit the smiling face. They have already tricked countless pirates into their own traps with this kind of warm welcome, but they have never used it. Where did this strange creature come from? So shameless. The corner of Shi Lubo's mouth twitched. This hero of the sea, we sincerely welcome you to come as our guests. Why? No way. We have more than 100 million Baileys on board. Drinking alcohol may cause trouble. Thank you for your kindness, we will just stop here for a few days. We will leave immediately when the record pointer records the magnetic field. Luffy intentionally reveals her wealth. The reason why I only say 100 million Baileys is because if I say too much, I think the other party will not only not believe it, but will think that he is bragging. More than 100 million Baileys. Hearing Luffy burst out this number, all the eyes of the people on the pier must have lit up. Haha. It's actually a fat sheep that doesn't call itself. The corners of Genzi, Shi Lubo's mouth suddenly turned crooked, and his original enthusiasm disappeared immediately. Since you don't want to set it up, just order it directly. Swipe, brush. As Shi Lubo drew out his gun, nearly 100 people on the pier all drew out their weapons. Seeing this, Luffy bent down, leaned on the railing, and rested his chin with one hand. Excuse me. What does this mean? HMPH. Boy. Let your people disembark immediately to avoid suffering. Shi Lubo stopped pretending and pointed a gun at Luffy. See. I got it. You are bounty hunters from Baroque Works, right? At this moment, Zoro suddenly remembered something. When he was working as a bounty hunter, Baroque Works once invited him. Shi Lubo looked sideways slightly. Oh. You still have some knowledge. Zoro continued. Since you are bounty hunters, it's easy to say. We are not pirates, so we are not your target. Ha 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 ha. People on the pier burst into laughter. Salupo cracked the corners of his mouth. Boy. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't matter whether you are a bounty hunter or not. What matters is that you have more than 100 million Baileys on your ship. 1. Just want to steal money? Nami also asked. Hearing this, Shi Lubo looked at Nami, and his face immediately revealed a lustful look. He licked his tongue. If you want to grab money, you want to grab people too. Especially for a pretty woman like you. That's it must be grabbed. Ha 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 ha. Ha ha ha. The crowd also erupted into a lewd smirk. Bastards. You are looking for death. Hearing that the guy below was molesting Nami with words, Sanji was furious. Stop talking nonsense. Since you don't want to be caught without a fight, prepare to die. Give it to me. Facing the temptation of money plus beauty, Zylubo can't wait. He waved his hand and ordered to fire. Boom. As soon as his voice fell, an indescribable terror erupted. As if the sky suddenly fell, and the wolves were crushing on them. Everyone on the dock instantly fell to the ground, foaming at the mouth. Luffy stepped on the railing with one foot and sighed. These guys have done bad things and have a sense of superiority. Throw them all into the sea to feed the fish. Save them from cheating other people, leave it to me. Nami raised her chin slightly, poured a glass of water forward, then she held her left index finger with her right hand, and the slippery fruit ability was activated. A thin layer of water film appeared on the ground of the pier, and then divided into countless small water droplets, which quickly came under the bodies of those bounty hunters. He shong. As if it was as smooth as silk, the bodies of these people immediately bared out. Puff puff puff, there are hundreds of people, all of them fell into the sea in a blink of an eye. Nami. Over there, I didn't hesitate to do this kind of thing. Seeing Nami on the side of Red Luffy mercilessly throwing hundreds of people into the sea by 0.1, Nami was a little surprised. After all, it is said to be thrown into the sea, but in fact it is the end of their lives. Monkey D. Luffy. I gave the order over there, did you just kill them all? Nefeltari Vivi. Fortunately, I haven't joined the Baroque Work Club at this time. If I happened to be here, wouldn't I be drowned together? Nico Robin. Don't think too much. Luffy and Nami over there are doing nothing wrong. If Luffy and his party over there fall into the hands of these guys, the end will definitely not be much better. Trafalgar Law. Yeah. This world is like this. If you want to kill people and get more money, then you must be mentally prepared to be counter-killed at any time. Kid Eustace. Are you all struggling with this? Killing people. Kill as much as you want. In this era, the weak have no right to speak. Crane. Garp, the Red Luffy over there is not merciless in killing people, full of uncontrollability. Sakazuki. Such a person will eventually become a criminal against justice. Shiki. What? In the eyes of you idiots Marine, is it true that only obedient civilians are normal people? Anyone who has a little bit of resistance will be damned. Gold D. Roger. Ha ha ha. Marines are idiots, don't bother with them. After solving these Baroque workers, Luffy and his party stayed in Whiskey Hill for 3 days to replenish some supplies. Wait until the record pointer record is full of the magnetic field, then leave Whiskey Hill. A few days later, the Mary arrived in Little Garden. This island doesn't look like there are people. Standing on the ground of Little Garden, Buggy looked around. Although he came to East Blue from the Grand Line before, as we all know, the Grand Line has 7 common waterways, plus n many remote waterways. The road that Buggy used to go from the Grand Line to East Blue is not the same road as they are now. So Buggy also came to Little Garden for the first time. How can there be no people on such a big island? Walk in the middle, maybe there are towns. Usopp's hand built a pergola in front of his forehead, looking around. There is no port here, and it is not safe for the Mary to stop here. Someone must be on board to guard. Luffy looked at the information, and then ordered as the captain, Buggy and I will get off the ship and have a look, and if we find any towns, we will come back and let everyone know. The distribution seems random, but Luffy actually has his own considerations. Since it is to inquire about the situation, of course the number of people should not be too many, and the personnel remaining on the ship must have strong combat effectiveness. Buggy has another advantage, the fruit of Buggy. If you encounter any special circumstances and need to come back as soon as possible to inform everyone, Buggy's head can fly back first, and the complete information can be delivered quickly. Wait a minute, I'm going too. Nami came up. Luffy immediately refused. No, there must be at least one navigator on board. Nami was immediately discouraged. Trafalgar Law. Haha. Nami over there always wants to stick to the Straw Hat. Basil Hawkins. There's something about Luffy in the Straw Hat over there. The seemingly random allocation of personnel actually takes everything into account. Nico Robin. It seems that no matter which side of Luffy it is, they are so clueless in a certain way. Monkey D. Luffy. What? Nico Robin. You can't say this. You have to realize it by yourself. Frankie. Ha ha ha. Buggy. It turns out that my uncle and the Straw Hat Boy entered the island together. Are those agents from the Baroque Work Agency enough for our teeth? Mr. 3. Stupid. At this point in time, we're not there at all. You're still stuffing your teeth. Stuffing you a swallow. Luffy and Buggy entered the little garden, and soon encountered various ancient dinosaurs. However, these beasts can't get close to Luffy at all. Luffy's Conqueror's Haki directly knocked them down from the air. These meats are so big, we'll go to Sanji to pick some up after we're done touring the island. Luffy looked at those huge guys, with tears of excitement on the corner of his mouth. Boom. Boom. Pound. Suddenly, there was a fierce fighting sound in front. Sure enough, someone. Buggy's eyes lit up, and the eyeball in a palm flew out quickly. Although eyeballs can also fly out alone, it's not very safe. So Buggy developed this method of holding the eyeball as a detection method. Huh. Two giants are fighting. When Buggy's eyeballs saw the situation ahead, the Buggy here said in surprise. Anyone else? Luffy asked. Buggy shakes his head, no. After thinking about it, Luffy nodded. Let's go. Don't worry about them, let's go to other places on the island. Buggy flew back with his eyeball in his hand, and then the two walked in the other direction. Monkey D. Luffy. Hey, that's Uncle Dory and Uncle Brogy. Don't they go up and make trouble? Roronoa Zoro. Luffy over there is not as nosy as you. Vin Smoke Sanji. Haha. In the evening, Luffy and Buggy went back to the beach. Luffy. Seeing Luffy coming back, Nami waved happily. Whoosh. Luffy extended his hands, grabbed the side of the boat and went up to the deck. Beautiful Nami sauce. This is the love blueberry juice I just made, taste it. At this time, Sanji came out of the cabin, twirled and jumped to Nami, and handed the drink to Nami in a gentlemanly manner. Thank you Sanji. Nami took the drink and handed it to Luffy directly. You must be thirsty after being out for so long. Drink it quickly. Luffy took the drink and immediately drank it. Ah. Damn it. This is the blueberry juice of love I made for Nami-chan. Seeing that the drink was drunk by Luffy, Sanji's mouth crooked. Frankie. Ha ha ha. Sanji over there is miserable. Brook. Yo ho ho ho, it's too miserable, Nanoya Zoro. That idiot, he can't walk when he sees a woman, just blow him to death. Vin Smoke Sanji. Asshole Chlorella, shut up. Zoro came over and asked. How is it? What did you find? Buggy also came up at this time, shook his head and said. Except for the two giants, there is no one else on the whole island. Giant. Hearing this, Usopp widened his eyes excitedly. Luffy spread his hands. Yeah. And these two giants seem to have hatred. We circled around twice, and they are still fighting. Then, Luffy looked at Sanji. However, we found a lot of meat on this island, and we will catch the meat together later. When the record pointer records the magnetic field of this island, we can leave. Ah. Suddenly, Nami screamed out loud. What's wrong? Everyone looked over subconsciously. Directly Nami pointed at the record pointer on his wrist with a very bad face. The record pointer seems to be broken. Luffy reached out and took Nami's hand in front of him, looked at it, and his pupils shrank slightly. No. It's not broken, but the progress is very slow. Everyone just noticed that although the pointer on the recording pointer that represents the progress of the magnetic field has deflected, it has only deflected a little bit. If you don't pay attention to it, you will really ignore it. No. When Nami confirmed the recording speed of the recording pointer, she opened her mouth. If this recording speed is true, then we will stay on this island for at least a year. Nani. Everyone is dumbfounded. Nami. Ah ha ha. When we found out about this situation, we had the same expression. Usopp. Yes. That island is too pitted. It takes a year to fill up the magnetic field records, and whoever gets into it will be pitted. Trafalgar Law. Fortunately, the head of Sanji found the permanent record pointer from that Mr. 3's house, otherwise, wouldn't you have stayed there for a year? Trafalgar Law remembers that in the playback of the white frame video, The Straw Hat Pirates finally went to sea by relying on the permanent record pointer that Sanji found. Monkey Emperor Luffy. Yeah, without the permanent record pointer, we really have to stay there for a year. A year. Luffy looked at the sea in the distance, and said slowly, it seems that I still have to ask those two giants. They are the only humans here, so they must know something. Yes, yes, yes. There must be a way, Usopp quickly echoed. Are you kidding? If you want to stay here for a year, wouldn't you be a savage? Luffy looked at the sun which had begun to sink into the sea level, and said, it's getting late today, everyone go to rest first, let's go find the giant tomorrow. Everyone didn't have any opinions, and went back one after another. In the evening, Luffy and Nami studied for a long time, but couldn't figure out why, so they had to rest separately. The next day, Luffy and Buggy went to the island again, but this time Nami finally got his wish and went to the island with Luffy. After all, on the issue of record pointers, bring Nami insurance. Although Luffy has also learned navigation skills, when encountering such unknown problems, 2 brains are always better than 1. It's very quiet, it seems that those 2 big guys didn't fight. Buggy still used the old method to inquire about the situation ahead, and found that there was only 1 giant sleeping on the side of the mountain wall, and beside him was a huge mountain axe. You guys wait here first, I'll go over and ask. Luffy came to the sleeping giant by himself. When he stretched out his hand, his arm stretched and his palm became bigger. He patted the giant's shoulder. Hey. Hello, wake up. Flying squirrel. This kid is quite polite. Gion. Don't be influenced by the previous scene in Whiskey Town. In fact, as long as the red Luffy doesn't think you have malicious intentions, she is still very polite. Monkey D. Garp. You have a good eye. Hina. Speaking of which, red Luffy's actions to wake up this giant are very light, instead of deliberately making a loud noise to wake him up. This is much better than Smoker. Smoker. Hey. How does this get to me? Hina. Have you been wronged? I heard from your soldiers that you kicked them when you told them to get up. Kuzan. Ha ha ha. Paluzolino. Woo, are the current marine officers so scary? Smoker. Which bastard wronged me? Wait until I find out and see if I don't kick him to death. Ah. Puff puff puff, the giant Broggy turned over, his lips trembled for a while, and then he opened his eyes in a daze. Hi. Hello. My name is Luffy. Seeing Broggy wake up, Luffy speaks again. Suddenly heard another voice other than the giant Dory. Broggy got up suddenly. He looked at Luffy, his eyes suddenly showed surprise. Aha. Ha. Someone is here. Great. Finally someone is here again. Behind the bushes not far away, that guy is so excited, isn't he trying to do something bad? Speaking, 3 daggers slipped out of Buggy's palm, and he caught them at the tip of his fingers. He better not have thoughts about Luffy, otherwise, Luffy might make him doubt his life. Nami prepares to attack because she trusts Luffy without thinking. In her opinion, Luffy is invincible. Luffy looked at the excited Broggy, a little speechless. Hey. What do you mean someone came again? Did many people come before? Broggy bent one leg and sat down against the side of the mountain. He looked at the little Luffy and said with a smile, there are not many, but every few years I will meet some. People who strayed into this island. Where are those people? Luffy asked. Broggy shook his head, took a deep breath. Hey. They're all dead. You killed it, didn't you? Luffy's eyes suddenly noticed a pile of skeletons at the bottom of the mountain wall, and his face turned slightly cold. Ha ha ha. Only a very few were killed by me, but most of them died by themselves, and some committed suicide. Knowing that Luffy guessed through the pile of skeletons, Broggy burst out laughing. What? Also committed suicide? Luffy reveals an emoji of your mother is teasing me. Broggy shrugged his shoulders. Sounds outrageous, but, on this island, because the record pointer needs to be stored for a year to fully store the magnetic field, so some people. They died in the mouth of wild animals within a year, some died of hunger and disease, and some even committed suicide because they couldn't bear the suffering. By the way, there are some trying to attack me and Dory. Then they were killed by us, is that so? Luffy rubs her chin, it seems that there is no problem with what I said. At least, he didn't deliberately conceal the fact that he had killed someone. Wait till. You just said that it will take a year for the island record pointer to store a full magnetic field? Suddenly Luffy noticed this key word, which is about the same as the time Nami calculated before. Yes. This island is like this. Brocky nodded, and then he said, by the way, you can go to sea before the record pointer is full. If you are lucky, you may be able to drift to some island. On the other hand, the magnetic field storage time of other islands must not be so long. Luffy rolled his eyes. Say it means you didn't say it. Not relying on the record pointer to sail on this sea is equivalent to blind sailing. Go to the next island by luck? Luffy doesn't think anyone's luck can be so good. Okay, thank you. I'll go back and talk to my companion about this, and I'll chat with you when I'm free. Luffy got up and was about to leave. Do you have any companions? When the giant Broky heard what Luffy said, he was even more surprised. He stood up. Take me to meet them. I'm bored on this island too. Luffy waved his hand. Don't think about it. Although we are talking normally now, I still can't determine whether you have malicious intentions. In this case, I will not casually. I intend to bring you to my partner. This is actually testing the other party. If the giant in front of me wants to do something, Luffy doesn't mind getting rid of him here. Ha ha ha. Are you protecting your partner? You are much more interesting than those little ones before. Brocky laughed loudly, and then he lay down again. Well, since you have concerns, then I won't force you. Anyway, you are going to stay here for a year. We still have more chances to get to know each other. A few days later, Luffy and Nami finally confirmed. According to the current speed of the record pointer, it will indeed take a year. Just when everyone was very depressed, Luffy suddenly announced. Group practice for 1 year. Monkey D. Luffy, practice for a year. Roronoa Zoro. Luffy over there really likes to practice. Shanks. Haha. There is nothing to do if you don't practice in this situation. You can't squat by the sea every day and wait for people to come. Gold D. Roger. Cultivation is always better than wasting time. Pirates like us, 1 month of practice is not as much as 2 days for others. Shiki. Are you showing off? Gold D. Roger. No, 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 not at all. Didn't you see that people have conquerors winding when they are only teenagers? I only got conquerors winding when I was in my 30s. I'm showing off. Gold D. Roger. By the way, what about you, Shiki? How old were you when Conquerors was born? Oh. Sorry, I forgot again, you didn't. Shiki. Idiot. Why don't you die? Gold D. Roger. Ha ha ha. During the first month, Luffy and his group kept a distance from the 2 giants, and they communicated a few times during the period. However, slowly, everyone will become familiar with it. 71,482 games. Tie. Brocky announces loudly that he and Dory have another tie. I said. There is no need to continue the duel between the 2 of you. Luffy watched the whole battle and made a comment. Nani. What are you kidding? We haven't decided the winner yet. Brocky's eyes widened and he stared at Luffy. Dory also said angrily, Little devil, what do you know? Luffy grabbed the dodge with both hands, swished and sat on a rock protruding from the mountain wall, keeping his line of sight and that of the 2 giants on the same level, -1. Luffy crossed his legs, and said lightly, I have carefully observed several of your battles, and I found that your battles are not qualified to be called duels at all. As soon as these words came out, Brocky immediately raised the big axe in his hand, and said angrily, Hey, brat, are you pissing us off? Luffy spread his hands. How can this happen? I don't know if you feel that your battles are like dealing with errands. It seems that you should hurry up and the round will be over. Kuzan. Not to mention, judging from the situation of the few battles just now, it seems that I really have this feeling. Gion. Red Luffy seems to be able to say the key to things. Shanks. The 2 of them have been fighting for almost 100 years, indeed. They didn't realize it themselves, they couldn't kill each other at all, such a fight is meaningless, and it really doesn't qualification is called a duel. Edward Newgate. These 2 are really joking. Hearing what Luffy said, Brogy and Dory were taken aback. Why? It seems. Do you really feel this way? Old people often say that the onlookers are the ones who are clear, and the authorities are the fans. You 2 are the ones in the game, so you don't realize that the 2 of you don't care about the outcome of this battle at all. It can even be said that you are both afraid that the other party will lose. What you care about is that you want to continue fighting like this, never leave. Is it like this? Luffy said calmly. Nico Robin. Ah, never leave. The word Luffy over there is wrong. Trafalgar Law. Robin is in charge. Maybe it's not wrong. Those two giants said they would fight each other, but they can live together for 100 years. Even the most loyal in the world love looks inferior in front of them, right? Skulikmanip. Ah, blah, blah. Luo, you are really talented. This description is too good. Ah, blah, blah. Rox D. Zebek. Damn it, a good duel between fighters, but it tastes different in your mouth. Gold D. Roger. You guys know a lot. I think those little guys are right. The situation between Brocky and Dory has become something similar to love. Ha ha ha. Nami. Why does it feel weird all of a sudden? Frankie. Ha ha ha. Super. Usopp. Why didn't we notice it at the beginning, but now, it seems that it is really the same. After being told by Luffy, the corners of Brocky and Dory's mouths twitched, and suddenly a strange emotion surged up, as if they were both embarrassed to look at each other. 1. However, giants also want to save face. Brocky's face was flushed, and he stared at Luffy, viciously. Boy. You are slandering our honor as warriors of the Elbaf giant clan. We were the strongest warriors in Elbaf giant village 100 years ago. Dory also immediately echoed. Yes. Are you doubting the honor of me and Brocky as fighters? Luffy spread his hands to the sides. I'm just talking about the facts. Why are you so anxious? You also said that you were the strongest fighters in Elbaf's giant village 100 years ago, and the two of you are fighting on this desert island again after 100 years. How can you say that your strength should have been greatly improved? But I think your strength is nothing more than this. 1. What? You question our strength? Hey, kid. Do you dare to fight with us? Luffy's words immediately angered the two giants. Don't worry. Listen to me. Luffy waved his hand and continued. Actually, there is no need to compare. With the strength of the two of you, I can knock you down with a single punch. With the strength of the two of you now, I can't imagine that you two will be in 100 years. How weak is the former? Such an existence can be called the strongest warrior in Elbaf giant village. Are you kidding me? Of course. There is another possibility. You already had such strength 100 years ago, and the countless battles during these 100 years. Speaking of which, Luffy curled his lips, and slapped the palm of his right hand a few times with the back of his left hand. You guys haven't made any progress at all. Nani. Brocky and Dory can't take it anymore. Someone wants to humiliate them like this. Simply hateful. Suddenly, the two of them struck out almost at the same time, attacking Luffy with an axe and a sword at the same time. Too weak. Luffy didn't care about the attacks of the two at all. He avoided the two slashes with a random jump, and when his figure was in midair, he stuffed both thumbs into his mouth at the same time. Blowing in the air, Luffy's two palms suddenly turned into fists the size of small hills. The jet black armament hockey diamonds cover it, and it turns into two black shiny super big fists. Under the shocked gazes of Brocky and Dory, these two fists landed on their heads respectively. Dwang. Dwang. Luffy only took out a small part of the power, and immediately let the two giants feel what kind of experience it is to have an earthquake on their heads. Brocky and Dory got up from the ground when Luffy came back again in the evening. Ah. You kid. What kind of power is that? Brocky rubbed his head, and there are countless little stars flying around in front of him. It's fake. How old are you? You can already use armament hockey? Dory recalled Luffy's black fist in shock just now. What else could it be if it wasn't armament hockey? Although the two of them haven't appeared in the world for 100 years, they were the captains of the giant soldier pirates. Of course they know about armament hockey. I said that your strength is nothing more than this. Do you believe it now? Luffy dragged a huge little dinosaur and threw it in front of the two. By the way, please help me roast a piece of meat. With Luffy's little do, the two giants are no longer fighting each other. After a while, the little dinosaur has cleaned out its internal organs, hung on the grill and flipped over. 3 people are eating barbecue. Straw Hat Boy. I thought about it carefully for a while, and I think what you said is right. The battle between me and Dory in the past 100 years is completely like dealing with errands. This kind of battle has lost the meaning of fighting at all, so there is no improvement in our strength. Brocky picked up a big piece of meat and took a bite, swallowed it forcefully, and then said, "You're right, in fact, I don't hate Dory at all in my heart, and I even enjoy fighting with him." Sweat. Dory on the side, and while chewing the meat, he said, "Let's not talk about fighting. Our duel is called a duel, and we dance tacitly together every day. We actually know each other's thoughts, but because of face, I don't want to say it first." Brocky nodded vigorously. "Yes. If the Straw Hat Boy hadn't helped us pierce the window paper, we don't know how long we would be so absurd." "Thank you, Straw Hat." Brocky raised the bone stick in his hand and stretched it towards Luffy. "Yes. Thank you." Dory also stretched out the flesh in his hand. "You're welcome." Luffy sticks out the big meat, and the three of them come to a special cheers. Brocky said sadly, "Since we have no point in continuing to fight, then it's time for us to leave this island. It's been a long time since I went back to my hometown to visit. I really miss the old brothers. Sometimes, once people let go of the obsession in their hearts, the world will become better." Yeah. When we left, we were still young adults in their 60s, and in a blink of an eye we were already elderly people in their 160s. It's time to go home and watch. One Dory Shen sighed with emotion, but then looked at Luffy. "But, Straw Hat Boy, in order to celebrate our friendship, I decided to stay on this island for another year. Let's leave together with you." Brocky also quickly expressed his opinion. "That's right. Did you meet a friend like you? When your record pointer magnetic field record is full, you go to the next island, we follow us. The permanent record pointer goes home. Well, that's really great." Listening to what the two said, Luffy swallowed the flesh on the bone in one breath, and then looked at the two. "It's just right. I also have something I want to ask you two to help." 1. As soon as these words came out, Broke and Dory not only did not have any dissatisfaction, but were very happy. For the two of them, Luffy can be said to have helped them a lot. And because of this, I owe Luffy a huge kindness. You know, any person with normal 3 views, once they owe others a kindness, they want to repay it as soon as possible. Now, Luffy actually took the initiative to ask the two of them for help, and of course Rocky and Dory are happy. Kaido. Why does it feel like the Straw Hat Boy over there is plotting against these two giants? After a long time, the previous things are all for now to ask others to help. Paving the way. Charlotte Linlin. Ha 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 ha. Are you talking nonsense? The Straw Hat Kid over there is so smart. Designing 2 giants is not easy. Can't help him. You want to lure 2 giants onto the boat. Ochaku. Ha ha ha. Linlin. What are you talking about? Do you think everyone wants to sleep with giants just like you? Charlotte Linlin. How far can you go to my old lady? Dogs, it's better to have no one treat you as dumb. Edward Newgate. Kaido, Linlin. Don't judge the belly of a gentleman with the heart of a villain. Anyway, they are also 4 emperors, and they speak sourly, and they have the same name as you. For the 4 emperors, this old man is really ashamed. Shanks. Well said, Whitebeard. The red Luffy over there helped Brocky and Dory out of the knot. As long as you are not blind, you can see that he is just trying to wake up. Just 2 authorities. As for the things that I want to help now, I think it should be something Brocky and Dory can easily do. Gold D. Roger. That's right, the red Luffy over there is smart, but he doesn't bother to cheat. Nani? This is what you want us to do for you? Brocky and Dory stared like flashlights, shocked. Luffy nodded. Yeah. Any questions? Of course there is a problem. Brocky immediately jumped up. Hey. You hit us with a concussion just by swinging your fist casually. And now you let the 2 of us fight with you. Dory smiled wryly. Straw Hat Boy. Let alone every day, even if it is just 1 day, I'm afraid Brocky and I won't be able to hold on. Thinking of the power that Luffy's fist landed on their heads just now, the 2 of them suddenly felt their brains buzzing again. I still want to fight? Impossible. Play every day? Absolutely impossible. Cold, seeing the appearance of the 2, Luffy quickly explained. No. You can rest assured. I want to practice, and I will definitely not use any armament hockey and observation hockeys. Do not use hockey to practice. This is the method Garp taught Luffy. And Luffy has also seen Grandpa Garp do this kind of practice with warship sandbags. Later, Luffy's fist hit Deshaun, also refer to this method. But now Luffy's armament hockey and observation hockey have encountered bottlenecks, and the improvement speed is extremely slow. And now I need to practice in Little Garden for a year. If I don't have a suitable method of cultivation, I'm just fooling around, and my time will be wasted. If the two giants can fight to the death with him, and he doesn't use armament hockey and observation hockey, Luffy thinks this practice method may be effective. Green pepper. Don't practice with armament hockey and observation hockey. Isn't that what that bastard Garp did? Edward Newgate. Googling. Green pepper, it's Garp's grandson, so doesn't that make sense? Silver Rayleigh. Hee. Garp is able to practice so hard, Qingzhou, you have a lot of credit, haha. When it comes to green peppers, people who know him can't help laughing. This guy used to be the most famous person in the sea. At that time, his special skill, green pepper head cone, can be said to be a god to block and kill a god, a Buddha to block and kill a Buddha. I hide all the treasures I snatched under the glacier, and the glacier will be frozen solid when I leave. Only that green pepper cone can open the glacier. However, in order to deal with green peppers at that time, Garp relied on the cultivation method of punching mountains, and blasted more than a dozen mountains. When Garp is out of the game, he fights with Qingzhou again, smashing Qing's head cone with one punch. Green peppers have since dropped out of the powerhouse. Even you, who buried his treasure, can no longer open it. So green peppers hate Garp. Shiki. No wonder Garp's fist is so hard, so that's how he cultivated himself. Gold D. Roger. That's right. When this guy was in Marine Base, he practiced with warship sandbags, when he had nothing to do. Otherwise, how do you think he can be so strong? Kuzan. Warship sandbags. That is indeed a terrifying way of cultivation. Although Kuzan is a Marine admiral, few people know that he was once Garp's registered disciple, and in order to enhance his own strength, he took the initiative to worship Garp as his teacher. Although Garp did not agree to accept him as an apprentice, he acquiesced to Kuzan to practice with him. Monkey D. Garp. You are all mistaken. The cultivation method proposed by Luffy over there is not a simple warship sandbag. Sandbags are dead, but people are alive. What's more, with strength the famous family of giants, and there are two of them. Sengoku. It can be said that these are two sandbags that can fight back. Crane. And the two powerful ones will fight back with sandbags, right? Monkey D. Garp. Ahem. Almost. In short, I am looking forward to the results of Luffy's cultivation over there. I feel that after practicing like this for a year, the effect may not be easy. Rogue. Then can we practice in the same way as Red Luffy? Trafalgar Law. First, you have to find two giants, and then these giants have to be willing to cooperate with you. Rogue. Ah. Brocky and Dory originally thought that Luffy was deliberately watching their jokes, but when they heard that Luffy didn't use armament hockey and observation hockey, they were immediately happy. Hey, why didn't you say it sooner? Ah. Since you said so, then we promise to help you. Brocky rubbed his hands excitedly. Tisk tisk. You hammered us so dizzy, now you still give us a chance to take revenge. Hey. This is what you asked for. Our attack is not serious. Dory is also very happy. No matter how you say it, I have to return that punch. No. 2 more punches. 3 punches are done. Thinking of the scene where Luffy hugged his head and screamed, the two giants couldn't wait. Seeing that someone is willing to help, Luffy is also very happy. So, shall we start now? The partners have been practicing for a week, and Luffy basically guides their partners to practice this week, and then wanders around with nothing to do. Now I can finally practice. Luffy can't wait. Oh. Brocky and Dory look at each other. There are still people who want to get beaten up. Alright. Come on then. Brocky stretched out his hand to pull up a tree, and wiped his left hand on the trunk. All the branches were cut. A wooden stick, suitable for the size of a giant, is ready. After all, it is to help with cultivation. If you take a battle axe and a sharp sword, it will seem a bit personal. Dory also learned from others, and soon made a huge wooden stick. Hey, hey, hey. Straw Hat Kid, don't forget what you said. Don't use armament hockey and observation hockey. Before starting, Brokey reminded me, do not worry. Luffy is ready to attack, after a few seconds. Looking at Brokey and Dory who were holding their heads and screaming, Luffy was dissatisfied. Hey, hey, hey. You guys didn't understand. I want to practice. Don't try to keep your hands. Use your greatest strength to deal with me. Otherwise, I will beat you up. Ah. Damn it. Then we won't hold back at all. Come on. Continue. The two stood up again, waved their wooden sticks and attacked. Sue. When Brokey and Dory get serious, the cooperation between the two is quite powerful. Relying on her keen fighting instinct, Luffy constantly dodges between the attacks of the two. However, without knowing observation hockey, 2 wooden sticks will still fall on Luffy from time to time. Boom. Pound. Boom. I saw Luffy being hit by a wooden stick from time to time, or hitting the mountain, D. In the first few strokes, Brokey and Dory would stop and ask if they want to continue, but after a few times, they found that Luffy was not hurt at all. On the contrary, it hurt the hearts of both of them. My 2 strongest warriors of the mighty giant clan, the crackling attack has no obvious effect on a human body? Is it true that we have seriously degenerated in the past 100 years? Capone Beige. Isn't that reasonable? That kid in the red straw hat didn't use armament hockey to defend. Why did he get so many sticks from 2 giants and still fight with a good guy hash? X Drake. Indeed, even if he has been practicing since he was a child, his fists are powerful, but why is his body defense so strong? Jewelry Bonnie. I can't understand. I can't understand at all. Monkey D. Luffy. Because I am a rubber fruit user. Blunt strikes will greatly reduce my damage. Brokey and Dory were a little suspicious of life, so they had to continue to attack. Time flies, 3 months have passed. Haha, I finally succeeded. The voice of Buggy rushes to the sky in the forest, making flocks of birds fly in shock. Luffy and his party all rushed to hear the sound. Haha. Look Luffy. Buggy is so excited, she started to show off in front of everyone. Boom. Under the ability to classify fruits, the originally complete Buggy suddenly becomes countless slices. It's like a cucumber sliced by a chef, it's very neat. Oh. So strong. I won't be able to reach you at all. Usopp picked up a stone and threw it. The stone passed through Buggy's body and smashed some slices. Hey. I'm not invincible yet. Although it doesn't hurt much, it still hurts. Buggy controls the slice and flies back, forming a complete self. Luffy showed joy. Okay. Take this first step, and the next thing will be much easier. I guess it won't be long before you will be able to split more. Yeah. Luffy, thanks to the method you taught me. When I can split into sand grains, and then cooperate with armament hockey, then my damage reduction ability will definitely be super terrifying. Buggy is very confident. Buggy. Hey, the me over there really succeeded? Gold D. Roger. Little Buggy. After watching the movie, you should practice quickly. There are ready-made ways, you just need to follow along. Shanks. Yes. If it can be split into the size of a grain of sand, plus armament hockey, it is equivalent to hitting a pile of sand covered with armament hockey when someone attacks you. Not only can you not forced, and the defense is huge. Edward Newgate. Red Nose, you should also thank Red Luffy over there. These are all the cultivation ideas he provided. Shanks. The Red Luffy over there can't hear it, just thank the one over here. It's all alone. Buggy. Looking at the degree of division of Buggy over there, it must be a lie if Buggy says that he is not envious. Although he didn't say it, he had already made a decision in his heart. After this viewing system is over, he will start to practice. At that time, the powerful sand splitting, plus the power of the bone veins. Just thinking about it makes Buggy feel horrible. Time flies, another 3 months have passed. Nami's armament hockey is finally getting started. Of course, this is not his main training item. According to Luffy, Nami's armament hockey only needs to be started. The main training item is still in the fruit ability. To Nami's satisfaction, she has now been able to slip away the fatigue from her body. Although it is not successful every time, the success rate is as high as 70%. This is already a terrifying value. Imagine, your enemy fights with you all day and night, and you are exhausted, and 70% of the energy consumed by your enemy returns inexplicably. This is definitely a terrifying ability. Not only that, Nami can also slide away the instant damage. Certainly. This is also a certain probability. Time flies by, and another 3 months pass quietly in sweat like rain. On the beach, Brokey kicked Luffy out with a stick. Then Dory caught up with another blow, knocking Luffy back. During these 9 months, not only Luffy and his group have improved in strength, but Rocky and Dory have also improved in strength. And the cooperation between the two of them can be said to be seamless. The 100-year battle has brought the tacit understanding between the two of them to a certain level, and the cooperation in the battle is just the last catalyst for the two of them. A certain qualitative change has been achieved, and the combat power of the two of them at the same time is directly multiplied geometrically. Of course, Luffy is not helpless after being beaten. During this period of training, Luffy has improved significantly in observation Haki and armament Haki. But what Luffy himself didn't think of. The most significant improvement is the ability of rubber fruit. Due to constant beatings, Luffy found that his body gradually produced certain changes. He sometimes hears the sound of his heart beating in his cavity. In addition to the normal heart beating sound, sometimes there will be a few special beatings. That sound doesn't sound like a heartbeat, but rather like some kind of drumbeat. Boom. As Brokey knocked Luffy away with another stick, Luffy's heart reappeared, that drumming sound. Continue. Luffy simply gave up his defense, he spread his arms and flew towards Dory. Boy, if you can't bear it, you must say it. Mouth reminded. Dory didn't stop, another throw. Everyone has cultivated together for so long, he is still clear about Luffy's ability to bear. The reminder on the mouth is also a manifestation of concern. Boom. 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 After Luffy gave up his defense, he was like a sandbag, constantly shooting back and forth between the two giants. Hey, boy. Are you okay? Although I know that Luffy has a strong ability to fight against blows, but I haven't spread out and beaten like this before. This guy is completely defenseless. If it weren't for seeing Luffy still gnashing his teeth, Brokey and Dory even suspected that Luffy had been knocked out. Don't stop. Keep going. I feel it's coming. Luffy yells. This feeling that I have never had before. Luffy can clearly feel that the special heartbeat in his accent is becoming more and more obvious. And from the previous occasional jumps, it has become more and more regular. Boom. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Roronoa Zoro. What is he doing? Will he be beaten to death? Vinsmoke Sanji. Didn't he be hallucinated by the beating? He was obviously staggered from the beating, but he was still shouting and feeling. Nico Robin. Although the character of the red Luffy over there won't mess around, it feels like it's messing around. Monkey D. Luffy. I look like I'm enjoying myself over there. Trafalgar Law. He has no defense at all, allowing the two giants to attack violently. Is this really a way of cultivation? Jewelry Bonnie. Hey, hey, hey. If this goes on, he will be beaten to death, right? Ding. Enter the prize-winning answering session. At this moment, a question appeared on the big screen. Question. After Red Luffy finishes practicing in Little Garden this time, what is the biggest achievement of cultivation? A. Ultimate's Armament Haki. B. Ultimate's Observation Haki. C. Ultimate's Conqueror's Haki. D. Awakening of Rubber Fruit. E. None of the above are correct. Rox D. Zebek. Here comes the title. Shiki. What are you excited about? The two of us who are riding horses can't answer. Gold D. Roger. Haha. Rox, I think you are hopeless. Rox D. Zebek. Damn. Forgot I got 2 rounds. Ah. Shiki. We can't choose, can't you? What are you doing in a daze? Choose. Charlotte Linlin. Ahahaha. Don't push Golden Lion. Now there is a punishment mechanism. Who shouldn't think about it carefully? Kaido. This golden retriever dog is limp. Ochaku. PFF. Ha ha ha. Golden retriever. Kaido, you are a talent. Ha ha ha. Sengoku. This question looks simple and clear, and it is a good opportunity to get rewards. Garp, Crane, Zephyr, you must seize the plus chance. Sengoku got a wrong answer on the previous question. Not only was he sentenced to more than 9 months of life, but he was also fined for 1 round, the chance to answer the question. Crane. I am not a few years younger than you, so I have to think carefully. This episode looks really concise and clear, but if you want to get the reward, you still have to choose one of the 5, the risk is the same. Speaking of which, Suru Vice Admiral is 3 years younger than Sengoku, but her physical condition is not as good as Sengoku's. Crane Vice Admiral is also afraid that if the answer is wrong, he will burp. Gold D. Roger. Garp, you answer. You are already 15 years old, and some lifespans are wasted. Monkey D. Garp. Bastard Roger, why don't you answer? Gold D. Roger. I got the last question wrong, and now I'm in the blackout period. Everyone looked at these 5 options, but no one answered easily. Punishments are real, who dares to take risks easily? Monkey D. Luffy. I choose D. Just when everyone was still looking forward and backward, Luffy answered directly. Although it is impossible to get the correct answer from the video, when Luffy watched the video, he vaguely heard the sound of free war drums. If it was Luffy before he received the Rubber Fruit Awakening reward, then he would definitely not have noticed the faint sound of the free war drum. But now that he has awakened the Nika form, all the information about the Nika form naturally flowed into his mind along with the reward. So he is very sensitive to the sound of the drums of freedom. Certainly. Just because of this does not guarantee that D is chosen. Telephone. The sound of free war drums in the video is very vague. It seems that there is no. Luffy is not sure either. But White Luffy is like that, doing things intuitively. As long as he feels right, he will make a choice without hesitation. Roronoa Zoro. Ah. Luffy, get off your head. Nami. Luffy, answer when you are sure, don't yell out loud. Seeing that Luffy is an early bird, again, the partners of the Straw Hat Pirates were worried that Luffy was getting excited, so they quickly reminded. But just as their voices fell, someone answered immediately. J. Golucia Satan-san. Choose D. Shepherd X Peter Street. Choose D. Makas Mahjong. D. Saint Topman Vachuli. D. Makas Mahjong. Ah. Slow down. Saint Topman Vachuli. Hey. This. Hiss. When everyone saw the names of these answerers, they were all secretly shocked. What happened? There were 4-5 elders who chose D at the same time. 2 of them were a little slow in choosing, but they were still moaning. Are they sure that option D is the correct answer? Sengoku. As that. The answer is D. Charlotte Linlin. What's going on? Why are those old things spinning D? Do they know something that we don't? Kaido. It must be. Otherwise they can choose D together, and I, the Straw Hat Kid, probably know something about it. Edward Newgate. Gu la 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 la. Wasn't the Straw Hat Boy's previous reward the awakening of Rubber Fruit? He has a clear understanding of the ability of his own fruit, which seems normal. But why? 5 elders are so sure. Monkey D. Luffy. Ah. I'm actually not sure, but it feels like the awakening of the fruit ability. If he is really sure, Luffy will definitely call his partners to choose after the selection. Monkey D. Long. 5 elders, why did you choose? Shepherd 10 Peter Saint. It's not your turn to question us, Dragon. J. Golucia Satan-san. Humph. What do we pick and need to explain to the untouchables? In fact, 5 elders had no clue about the answer to this question before. But when they saw that Luffy had made a choice, several people looked at each other and immediately responded in unison. About this rubber fruit, its secret has been well concealed by the government of the world for hundreds of years. Except for 5 elders and I am, most people don't know the special features of this devil fruit. Of course. They will choose D immediately, or because they saw Luffy choose D. They know that Luffy has awakened Nika form, and now Luffy chooses Nika form as the answer. They believe it is not a coincidence. Faced with this opportunity to get rewards, 4 of the 5 elders decided to take a gamble at the same time. So there was a scene where 4 people rushed to answer D at the same time. Gold D. Roger. These old things. are really thugs. Roger has been to Raftel, and knows the particularity of rubber fruit. Now seeing 5 elders make such a choice, I immediately understand what it is. Countdown to answer the question. 10, 9, 8. While everyone is discussing, the countdown to the answer has already started. Charlotte category. It doesn't have to be D. I remember that he practiced armament hockey and observation hockey in this way. I choose A. Charlotte Bray. Trust category's brother's judgment. I will choose a 2. Skulekmanip. Ah, blah blah. I also think the answer is not necessarily D. I think B is very similar. I choose B. Sengoku. Young Marines, don't be idle. Isn't it just a gamble? If you lose the bet, it will only last a year at most. If you win the bet, it will be completely different. Goal D. Roger. Sengoku, an old man, lost his own life, and now encourages others to die. It's really not a joke. Sengoku. Fart. For young people, the benefits outweigh the risks. Shiki. No matter how big the benefits are, you have to be able to get them. If you can't get them, it's zero benefits, idiot. Huashaoshan. Let me choose a 2. Smoker. Then I choose B. Prince Gruss. Pick B. Vista. I'll get 1 too, choose E. Marco. Ah. You were really fooled. Joes. It's not called Meng, it's called thinking that one's life is too long, so send some out to play. Beasta. Haha. What if I got it right, too? 1, 0. With the end of the countdown to answering the question, the picture on the screen with the empty border continues to play. Boom. 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 As Luffy's heartbeat became more and more regular, the corner of his mouth gradually outlined a Nike arc. Luffy. Should we stop? Looking at Luffy, whose body started to distort after being beaten, Brokey became hesitant to make a move. Don't stop. I feel good. Luffy has his eyes closed at this time, but from his tone, it seems that he really enjoys this kind of beating. If you don't know, you think it's one. Dory also couldn't bear to say, I feel that you will really be beaten to death. Don't worry. Make it harder. From now on, don't ask anymore, don't care what happened to me, just keep hitting, don't stop. If you really want to help me, just do what I say. If you stop, all your previous efforts will be in vain. Luffy's words are full of firmness. Brocky and Dory looked at each other, then nodded to each other. Boom. 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 The 2 big sticks no longer show mercy, and violently bombarded Luffy. The terrifying loud noise caused other people who were cultivating on the island to rush over. Although I usually hear the rumbling sound coming from Luffy's cultivation side, but today's rumbling sound is particularly heavy and much denser than usual. Everyone obviously practiced separately, but they all came to the mountain wall involuntarily, looking at Luffy's situation. And in a safe haven in a wild state, on the Mary. A little girl wearing a goose yellow raincoat and rain boots is constantly jumping from the highest point above the mast. She desperately wanted to see what happened on the other side of the mountain. But the primeval jungle blocked her vision. Under the hood, the half-immature face exposed to the sun is full of worry. The other side of the mountain wall. Time passes by 1 minute and 1 second. Because Luffy said something before, although Zoro and the others had no idea, they still held back to dissuade them after all. Later, Luffy stopped moving at all. He is like a tennis ball, shuttling back and forth in the match between 2 giant tennis players. Ah! Suddenly, Brokey exclaimed loudly. Looking at Luffy flying towards him, Brokey was about to raise his hand and hit a stick, but suddenly found that Luffy collapsed. Yes. Luffy is really broken. He subconsciously stopped attacking, caught Luffy with his other hand, and then slowly placed it on the stone on the ground. I saw that Luffy's body seemed to be melting at this time. His hair has turned white, and it is not the original one, it has become like a big chunk of cream, and it is like a white flame. Monkey D. Garp. What's going on? What happened to the big grandson over there? Edward Newgate. How does it feel like being punched out? Roronoa Zoro. What happened to Luffy? Tony Chopper. It looks like cream, but it looks like a white flame. Nami. Luffy, is it normal for you over there? Monkey D. Luffy. It's normal. It seems that I guessed it right. It really is the awakening of the fruit ability. Kaido. Awakening. Impossible. The awakening of the paramecia fruit is to assimilate the surroundings, but the situation in the video screen is clearly that its own form has changed. This cannot be the awakening of the paramecia fruit. On the contrary, it is like the awakening of the ability of the zone fruit. Marco. Indeed. This is indeed like the awakening of the zone fruit. And the awakening of ordinary species and ancient species cannot achieve this level of change. Only the phantom beast species. Such an exaggerated change in body shape will appear only when the animal fruit of the animal is awakened. As the demon fruit power of Zone, Kaido and Marco all have the right to speak. Even if the two of them say this, others will naturally not have much doubt. Edward Newgate. That's weird, Straw Hat. What's going on with this devil fruit? Monkey D. Luffy. I don't know either. But because I got a reward before, the fruit ability was awakened in advance. So I know very well that what happened to Luffy over there is the fruit ability awakening. J. Golucia Sadenzen. Okay. Looks like I'm going to get the reward for the second time. This time I can't just give me 15 years younger. Seeing the situation in the video, nothing is more exciting than J. Golucia Saden. He silently prayed in his heart, another powerful Bing Nang. Make him eligible to arm wrestle. I am. Damn it. That throne. The old man really wants to sit. Shepherd Peter Street. This. The one who won't be rewarded to me later is 15 years younger. 15 years younger is a nice bonus, but for the 5 elders, they want more power. As long as you can stand on the top of the world, you can find a way to try to live forever. Luffy. What happens? Luffy. Talk to me, is there anything wrong? Zoro and others immediately surrounded him, looking at Luffy nervously. But because Luffy said something earlier, everyone didn't act rashly towards Luffy. Boom boom boom. Luffy's heart started beating. The sound was so clear that everyone present could hear it clearly. His heartbeat is so loud. What's going on? Why do I feel happy listening to Luffy's heartbeat? It turns out that I'm not the only one who feels this way. My God, Luffy's condition is unknown now. Why is he happy? It's over, it's over. What's wrong with us? Why is Luffy's life and death unknown, but we want to laugh happily? No. You're already laughing. In the sound of Luffy's heartbeat, everyone present felt in a good mood, and a happy smile appeared on their faces involuntarily. Ha. Ah hee hee, it feels right. This feels completely right. Ha ha. Ha ha. Just when everyone was worried about Luffy's situation, Luffy, who was sleeping with her eyes closed, suddenly opened her eyes, opened her mouth and laughed happily. 1. Luffy opened his eyes with a smile on his face. Dwang. He bounced off the ground like a bouncy ball. His body shape has changed more thoroughly than just now. His pupils are ringed and his eyebrows are curved like devil fruits lines. His hair and clothes all turned white, as if he was wearing a white flame. Around his body, streamers of steam like white clouds surround his neck and underarms, giving him an ethereal feeling. Luffy was jumping with joy. He laughed loudly. Ah ha ha. Friends. My fruit ability seems to have improved to a higher level. Everyone is shocked. Only Buggy opened his mouth wide, and said in astonishment, Luffy, you are the fruit awakening. After all, I'm someone who has been in the new world, so I still have some vision. Sengoku. Ah. Looks like the correct answer is really D. Thinking of Luffy getting rewards and Marine not getting one, Sengoku felt a dull pain in his heart. Although the 5 elders are also rewarded, there is still a big difference between the 5 elders being rewarded and the Marine being rewarded. At least 5 elders can't listen to Sengoku's orders, but Marine will listen. Gold D. Roger. Just now everyone said it was D. You have to encourage Marine to choose other options. Now it's alright. Others are going to die. Look. Are you doing Sengoku human affairs? Sengoku. Come on. I'm doing it for their own good too. Shiki. Damn. Anyway, what you do is for the benefit of others, and you never benefit yourself and only benefit others. You are a living saint in real life, right? Nami. Yay. Luffy is getting rewarded again. 903, Rox D. Zebek. Strive for another resurrection. Edward Newgate. Gu la 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 la. What are you thinking? How can the same person appear in succession with the same reward? You should die obediently, no one will revive you. The Charlotte Linlin. Wahahaha. Everyone was spraying each other, and the movie viewing system sounded a notification. Ding. Anyone who answers wrongly in this prize quiz will be punished. Maka's Mashang. The right to answer the next round of questions will be deprived, and 4 months and 11 days of life will be deducted. Top Man Vokuli Saint. The right to answer the next round of questions will be deprived, and life expectancy will be deducted for 2 months and 3 days. Charlotte Katakori. Deprived of the right to answer the next round of questions, 18 days of life will be deducted. Charlotte Bree. Deprived of the right to answer the next round of questions, deducting 11 months and 11 days of life. Smoker. Deprive the right to answer the next round of questions, and deduct 5 months and 21 days of life. Beasta. The right to answer the next round of questions will be deprived, and life expectancy will be deducted for 2 months and 5 days. Beasta. Hey. I will lose 2 months of life. Joes. As I said just now, what kind of stuff did you choose? It's completely out of luck, just send 10 o'clock out. 5 months of deduction. Still acceptable. Charlotte Bree. Why I detained for 11 months. Charlotte Katakori. Risks and benefits are always related. Answering wrong questions will not only result in life deduction, but also deprive you of the right to answer once. It can be described as miserable. Ding. The top 3 correct answers in this prize quiz are Monkey D. Luffy, J. Golucia Satanson, and Shepard 10 Pitson. Congratulations to the 3. Get rewards. Congratulations to Monkey D. Luffy, who won the tiger at the door. Congratulations to J. Golucia Satan, for obtaining the natural wool snake blood, wind. Congratulations to Shepard 10 Peter, who obtained the natural wool snake blood, land. Ding. Because the tiger talisman, the blood of the serpent of natural wool, wind, and the blood of the serpent of natural wool, earth, are magical things from otherworld, special remarks are made. Tiger Talisman Remarks. 1. The magic charm with the power of balance can promote the harmony of yin and yang, and reconcile the magic conflicts among the other 11 spells, so that the magic power of all spells can be blended and balanced in the body to avoid confusion. Energy can be emitted remotely, and the power is related to the strength of the person. When it is attached to an object that has been split in 2, it will point out the location of the other half of the object that is missing. Under the will of the current world, the balancing power of the tiger talisman can act on devil fruits, and it can reconcile the conflicts of devil powers between devil fruits, so that all the devil powers of devil fruits can blend and balance each other in the body, and will not any repulsion. Nani. When the remark of the tiger talisman was explained, almost all moviegoers dropped their jaws to the ground. Although the tiger talisman is a magical thing from otherworld, the explanation is quite clear. It can reconcile the demonic power between devil fruit, so that these demonic powers will produce any repulsion in the body. This. What a concept. Maka's Mashang. What? This thing can make the power of demons not repel each other. Doesn't that mean that one person can eat 2 devil fruit at the same time? Kong. No, it may be more terrifying than this situation. The explanation in the note says that all devil fruit's demonic powers can be blended and balanced in the body. Crane. Obviously, this means that no matter how many pieces of devil fruit you eat, the repulsion between the powers of demons will disappear, so that a person can have the power of many devil fruits at the same time. Paluzolino. Hey. One person has multiple devil fruit abilities, it's too stupid. Shanks. Wow. Luffy. If that's the case, after the summit war is over, I'll help you find devil fruit. As Luffy's guide, Shanks was so excited when he saw this scene. Luffy itself is an ability user in the form of Phantom Beast and Nika, and as Joey Boy, who was independently chosen by Rubber Fruit. Be the king of this age. Now that I got this tiger talisman, I can directly eat devil fruit as jelly beans. It seems that this era is really called Luffy. Monkey D. Long. Devil fruit, it seems that we should pay attention to collecting devil fruit. Empty. Attention all countries that are members of the world government. Devil fruit will be included in the ranks of prohibited items. All devil fruits will be handed over to the world government, and the world government will issue baileys of equivalent value as compensation. As the commander-in-chief of the army, Kong immediately realized the dire consequences of this reward for Luffy. After all, the other party is Garp's grandson, so you can't say it on the face of it. But with the help of the chat room of the viewing system, it is possible to issue such a notice to all the countries that have joined the world government, and to curb the development of Straw Hat Luffy to the greatest extent. Certainly. When Luffy is rewarded with the Tiger Talisman, it means that the government of the world must issue a kill order to him. After all, Luffy knows the growth rate is too high. No one can imagine what kind of dominant existence he will become when he fuses more and more devil fruits. Sabaody Archipelago, hey, isn't the Straw Hat Kid invincible now? Basil Hawkins with his mouth wide open and an expression of disbelief all over his face. Kid Eustace gritted his teeth. Why did he do all the good things? He can eat unlimited devil fruit. If I get this ability, the world will tremble under my feet. Capone Beige smoked a cigarette vigorously. The movie viewing system has been playing about Straw Hat Luffy, don't you realize something? Maybe, Straw Hat Luffy may really be someone of great significance. I just said that I always feel that something is wrong. Hearing what Capone Beige said, Jewelry Bonnie suddenly opened his mouth. Now I finally understand. The Straw Hat Luffy is clearly like the protagonist in the story. Some people are born to be the protagonist, whether you believe it or not. Holding the scabbard with both hands, Trafalgaro looked at the big screen in the sky and said with emotion. Among their group of supernovas, if anyone is the first to notice that Luffy is different, that's Trafalgar Law, of course. Whether it's Luffy's natural cohesion, or the kind of boldness that dares to attack the Tianlong people. They are all characteristics that ordinary people cannot possess at all. And with the continuous playback of the movie viewing system, Falgaro is more and more convinced of his own judgment. Until this moment, when Luffy got the reward named Tiger Charm. Isn't it obvious that it is going to be opened? If it wasn't for the legendary halo of the protagonist, I would have eaten the knife in my hand. Behind naval headquarters, behind a hidden island somewhere, Blackbeard Teach looked at this award and was completely dumbfounded. Because of his special body structure, he can eat 3 devil fruits. For this reason, he has been lurking in the Whitebeard Pirates for many years, and finally he will not hesitate to bear the crime of killing his companions to get dark fruit in order to allow himself to master the main evil at the same time. Calendar. In his opinion, as long as he gathers the top devil fruits of the 3 series, he will definitely be the strongest in the world. Time to become the king of this world, just as the rocks ever thought it would be. But now compared to Luffy, Blackbeard Teach feels like a clown. Can you be proud and complacent if you can have the power of 3 devil fruits at the same time? People can eat unlimited. Natural will Orochi blood, wind, remarks. Integrate the natural will of the big snake blood, wind, you can get the power of wind. Natural will Orochi blood, earth, remarks. Integrate the natural will of the big snake blood, earth, to obtain the power of the earth. At this time, the 5 elders' reward notes and explanations came out. Although the reward notes for the 2 are very short, but short and sharp. A few simple words, the information contained in them is indeed terrifying. The power of the wind, power of the earth. Although other people don't know what exactly is included here, but at least, this is definitely no less than 2 developed Logia devil fruits. And the 5 elders themselves are extremely powerful existences, now that they have obtained the power of wind and the power of the earth respectively. What a terrifying level their strength will reach. Luffy's devil fruit awakened, he stepped lightly, and his body jumped into the air. Wow, haha. I feel like I'm in great shape now. Luffy laughed, he punched the mountain and blasted it. Hello. Seeing that Luffy attacked Deshaun so recklessly, everyone got up immediately. But the next moment, dwang! I saw that the mountain was directly sunken under Luffy's punch. Nani? Zoro opened his mouth wide in surprise. Usopp also exclaimed. Hey, hey, hey. What's going on? Then why does Deshaun become like a gummy candy? Ahahaha. Is this the fruit awakening? It's too much fun, come on. Luffy retracted his fist, and then grabbed a tree, and turned the tree over and over. When he let go of the tree was not damaged at all. At this time, Buggy said, Paramecia's devil fruit can assimilate the surrounding things when its ability is awakened. Your rubber fruit belongs to Paramecia, no problem. It's just. Why did your physical condition change so much? Buggy showed a puzzled expression on his face. However, he didn't continue to dwell on this issue. Luffy falls from the sky. Nami ran over immediately. Luffy, can you use this ability on others? Nami asked curiously. Sure. Luffy is still smiling happily. He puts his hands on Nami's body. Nami tries to control the elongation of her arms. Sure enough, Nami tugged his nose again. Wow. I've become a Luffy too. After a few tries, Nami is happy like a child. Seeing how interesting this ability is, Usopp also counted it in. Hey hey hey. Play with me too. And me. Sanji let himself go. Under the assimilation of Luffy, several rubber men had a great time playing. 3 months have passed. Luffy and his team have been in Little Garden for a year. The magnetic field of the recording pointer is finally full. This year, Luffy's qualitative change is the most prominent. The awakening of the fruit ability has undoubtedly greatly improved Luffy's strength by a notch. Secondly, Zoro's armament haki has been greatly improved. It has faintly reached the threshold of advanced armament haki. From a person who doesn't know armament haki to this level in less than 2 years. This may sound like nonsense, but it is not. One is Zoro's extremely talented, and the other is Luffy's personal guidance. Super talent plus super hard work plus no detours. That's why Zoro's cultivation achievement has been achieved. Not only that, Zoro's swordsmanship is also crazy all the way. Buggy's active splitting can already split into pearls as small. And most importantly, when Luffy's fruit ability is awakened, Buggy also saw the same path. With Luffy paving the way ahead and sharing his experience with him, Buggy will go very fast on the road of devil fruit ability development. He is already imagining that after his devil fruit ability is awakened, he will take the initiative to distinguish other things, even other people. Hiss. Invincible. Just thinking about it makes Buggy tremble with excitement. On a sunny day, Mary has left Little Garden. Brocky and Dory also went out to sea on a huge raft. The animals in Little Garden suddenly felt relaxed. Mary sailing on the sea, it's bad. Usopp is sick. Sanji hurriedly ran out from the audience, his face was very ugly. It's time for dinner. Sanji went to call someone to eat when he was done cooking, but when he got to the watchtower, he saw Usopp crooked on the ground, smacking his head, obediently. Hot. Sanji hurriedly carried Usopp into the room. After a while, everyone gathered together. Diagnosed. The diagnosis result is: everyone doesn't understand medical skills. Usopp. Hey hey hey. Isn't Nami sick? How did it become me? Looking at the weak self lying on the bed in the video, Usopp was stunned. Nami. Ah, the one over there must have been bitten by a poisonous insect. On the contrary, I was lucky this time, and I didn't get bitten by a poisonous insect. Nami remembers that when she left Little Garden before, she was bitten by a poisonous insect and carried ancient bacteria on her body. As a result, she became seriously ill. Fortunately, she was treated in time, otherwise, as Dr. Kuriva said, if she arrives one day later, she will be hopeless. Nico Robin. Nami over there is a slippery fruit-capable person, it is impossible for poisonous insects to bite her. Vin Smoke Sanji. Yeah, the poisonous bug couldn't even stand on Nami-chan, it just slipped off. Lay it out on the table, there is an island here. Judging from the distance, if we advance at full speed, we can reach it within 2 days at most. Nami pointed to an island on the nautical chart, and said with a serious face. Although Nami also understands some common sense of healthcare, but only limited to some common minor problems. But even she doesn't know what kind of disease Usopp is suffering from, that means Usopp's problem is serious. Nami knows this can't wait any longer, she has to find a real doctor to see Usopp as soon as possible. This is Magnetic Drum Island. It's the right place to go to. Buggy's head was suspended right above the nautical chart. When he saw the name of the island, his eyes lit up immediately. This place is called the Iron Barrel Kingdom. It is said that it is a country with super advanced medical skills. It will definitely be useful to go there. Although Buggy has never been here, I have heard the name of this country before. Okay. I'm going to speed up the boat. After confirming the destination, Luffy immediately came to the stern without the slightest hesitation. He clasps the sides of the boat with both feet and takes a sharp breath. Rubber hyphenation point propeller. Used this trick to save himself from Uzumaki when he first went to sea. As his belly grows bigger, blow it out again. Melly's speed suddenly increased a lot. In less than 2 days, the Mary arrived at Magnetic Drum Island. Stop. Who are you? As soon as we arrived at the port of Magnetic Drum Island, a large number of people appeared on both sides of the port. The leader is Dalton, the acting king on Magnetic Drum Island. Hello. We are here to seek medical treatment. One of our partners is seriously ill and needs to be treated immediately. Is this the Iron Barrel Kingdom, which is famous for its advanced medical skills? Nami hurriedly asked. As a sweet-looking little girl, she speaks so condescendingly. Generally, as long as it is not a person with a broken head, she will give her face. Ah. They are here to seek medical treatment. Dalton, let them in. A middle-aged man put down the gun in his hand and asked. Huh. Famous for its advanced medical skills. Listening to Nami's words, Dalton took a long breath, looked at Nami and the others, and sighed. What you said was in the past, now there is only one doctor in our country. Uncle. A doctor is fine, can we let him treat our companion? We can just wait here. Luffy came to Nami's side and looked at Dalton. Hey. Let me take you into the village first. As for seeking medical treatment, I will talk to you slowly on the way. It can be seen that he is very anxious to deal with his partner, and Dalton made a decision after a moment of silence. Monkey D. Luffy. Ah, how did you get in so smoothly? Luffy remembers that when a group of people came to Magnetic Drum Island, they were told to get out. Then there was a little conflict, which resulted in Princess Vivi being shot. They are obviously the same person, but the time is different, so why are they treated differently? Usopp. Yeah. It doesn't make sense. Vinsmoke Sanji, bastard Dalton. I think he's a womanizer. Nico Robin. No way. I think it's mainly because the Luffy over there are not pirates yet. There is no pirate flag flying on the Mary, and those people certainly don't have a bad impression of them. Tony Chopper. Yeah. At that time, the Drum Kingdom had just been harmed by the Blackbeard pirates, so the whole country was looking for bed pirates. Monkey D. Luffy. Ah. So it is like this. Buggy, Zoro and Sanji stayed on the boat, while Luffy followed Dalton to the village under the snow mountain with Usopp on his back. Because this is snow country, Luffy asked Nami to follow along. Dalton will explain how Wapol expelled domestic doctors and controlled the entire kingdom through Doctor, as well as the incident of the Blackbeard pirates more than half a year ago. After listening to this story, Nami, full of justice, waved his small fist angrily. In order to control the civilians, he actually expelled all other doctors. This bastard is really a beast. After hearing this story, Luffy didn't think much about it, but asked. Where does the doctor Lady Kaleva you mentioned just now live? Can you take us to her? Our partner is very sick, need timely treatment. This. Dalton sighed again, he walked to the window, and pointed to the highest one among the iron drums outside. Yamanaka, and Dr. Kuriva lived in the city with the highest mountain. Okay. Let's go. As soon as he got the address, Luffy immediately carried Usopp lying on the bed together. He could feel that Usopp's breath was getting weaker. Seeing that Luffy was in such a hurry, Dalton quickly reminded, by the way, that old woman has a weird personality. Sometimes she would go down the mountain to buy wine, and sometimes she would charge very high prices for medical treatment. It's better to have a mental preparation in advance. Luffy nodded. Well, thank you uncle, is there anything else you want to tell me? Dalton was taken aback, then shook his head. There is nothing else to pay attention to. Luffy and others came to the door and borrowed 2 pairs of skis. Luffy carries Usopp on his back, and then steps on a pair of skis. Nami put on another pair of skis. Seeing the situation of the two of them, Dalton turned pale with shock. Hey. You don't want to use this method to go up the mountain, do you? Yes. Luffy smiled, then looked at Nami. Nami, it's up to you. Well. Don't worry. I'm very capable. Nami stepped on the foot, the snowboard starts. The moment she kicked out, Luffy's right hand stretched and wrapped around Nami's slender waist, and the other hand also stretched, firmly fixing Usopp to her back. Ah. What are they doing here? Did they want a little girl to pull two men on skis? I've seen sled dogs, but I've never seen a sled girl. Crazy. A girl pulls two men, can't even skate, let alone go up the mountain. Scumbag. I really don't know how to pity and cherish Jade. The people around me feel unbelievable when they see Luffy and Nami's fancy operation. However, the next moment, jaws fell everywhere on the snow. I saw Nami's calf glaring, barking. Slay Girl suddenly disappeared from everyone's sight. Naturally, Luffy and Usopp disappeared with her. What? What's the situation? Is that girl a monster? It must be. Otherwise, how could there be such a great power? The three of them disappeared with one kick. This kick is going to land on me. I think I will fall apart. Usopp. Haha. It's funny to see them surprised. Nami. Alvida. Why don't I take you to play with me when I marry Luffy? Nami. Boa Hancock. Asshole. I don't agree. Under the ability of Slippery Fruit, Nami and Luffy's skis are all zero friction. Nami is in the direction of the front control, constantly shuttling through the forest, having fun. Luffy farts occasionally in the back, which can give them a great push. You should know that under the collar friction force, every time you increase the thrust, it will be superimposed. Although Tetung Mountain is high and steep, under Nami's skiing skills, it is as smooth as walking on the ground. The villagers over there are still looking for their jaws that fell out of shock, and they have already climbed to the top of the mountain. Just arrived at the top of the mountain, 4 eyes and 2 eyes. A standing strong reindeer is looking at Luffy and Nami. Tony Chopper. Wow. It's finally time for me to play. Will Luffy take me away? Nami. Sure. Chopper is so cute. Frankie. There is also a shortage of ship doctors over there. Chopper will definitely be on board. Ah. Chopper just stared at Luffy and Nami for less than a second and broke his power immediately. He screamed and ran to the castle. Whoosh. Luffy's right hand is untied from Nami's slender waist, and then reaches out and grabs Chopper in a split second. Whoosh. Arm retracted, and immediately brought Chopper back. Hi. We're looking for Mrs. Kuriva. Does she live here? Luffy asked. Ah. Are you looking for Mrs. Kuriva? But she's gone out. Being staggered by Luffy, Chopper scratched his head. Hearing this, Luffy's face suddenly became a little anxious. Excuse me. When will she come back? Is there a way to contact him? My partner is really seriously ill. Luffy can clearly feel that Usopp's physical condition is getting worse. Chopper is actually very afraid of seeing people, but when he noticed Usopp's situation, he immediately overcame his fear of people, and grabbed Usopp's wrist to feel his pulse. Oops. His condition is a bacterial infection, which has already eroded towards the brain. After feeling the pulse, Chopper immediately became serious. He looked at Luffy. Quick, bring him to the medical room. Speaking, Chopper turned around and walked towards the castle. Ah. Nami opened his mouth slightly, stunned for a moment, then looked at Luffy. But didn't he just say that Dr. Kuriva is not here? Luffy thought for a moment. Go. Now I can only trust this reindeer. Letting a reindeer heal Usopp is better than watching him die here. As soon as they came to the medical room, Luffy and Nami looked at Chopper in surprise. Good guy. This white coat is really the same thing. Put him here. Chopper picks up a syringe, directing Luffy. Luffy put Usopp on the operating table without hesitation. Chopper wiped Usopp's arm with cotton dipped in alcohol, and then a needle went in. Hello. Seeing Chopper's posture, Nami just wanted to ask him if he knew medical skills, but Luffy directly covered his mouth. Luffy made a shish gesture, then shook her head at her. Although Luffy is also skeptical about whether Chopper has medical skills, he knows that it is very, very impolite to question his professional ability. Maybe they wanted to help you, but just because you asked, they got angry and left. Then it doesn't matter at that time, wouldn't it be completely cool? Chopper quickly drew a tube of blood, and then started testing with reagents. Actually, seeing this, Nami already realized that Chopper must know medical skills. This posture is very professional. After a while, Chopper got the test results, flipped through the book, and said in surprise, "It's actually 5-day sickness. This disease is carried by a bug called Gaiskai that lives in the high temperature and humid forest. The parasitic bacteria, the books say that this kind of insect became extinct more than 100 years ago. 5-day sickness. Could it be that if you don't cure it in 5 days, you will die?" Nami was keenly aware of the key words, and asked nervously. "Well, yes. But fortunately, Dr. Kuriva still has antibiotics here, otherwise, he will die in 2 days. Chopper takes out antibiotics from the medicine cabinet as he speaks. Mixed with the medicine liquid, then pumped like a syringe, pressed Usopp's arm and stabbed it in with one shot. "Okay. No life is in danger for now. Put the syringe in the wash station," Chopper says. Knowing that Usopp's life is not in danger, Luffy breathed a sigh of relief. He bowed seriously to Chopper. "Thank you so much, Doctor." "Ah." Chopper suddenly realized, the other party is human. He jumped back suddenly in fright, and hid outside the door, only showing half of his head, and asked a little timidly, Don't you think I'm a monster?" "Monster? Why?" Now, it was Luffy's turn to be confused. "Nani?" Chopper boldly took a step outside. "I am a reindeer walking on 2 feet, isn't this a monster?" What's so strange about a reindeer walking on 2 legs? Luffy showed an unbelievable expression on his face, and then his arms stretched, becoming as long as his own legs. He bent down and turned into a Luffy 4-legged beast, grinning at Chopper. Who doesn't know how to walk across species? Puff. Who would have thought that such a rational red Luffy would have such a funny scene? The viewers were immediately laughed out loud. Laughing together in the chat room, Gold D. Roger. "Ahahaha. I'm used to the serious look of the red Luffy over there, but suddenly came out like this, I can't stand it, haha." Shanks. "Ha ha ha. Cross-species walking posture, this is really funny." Trafalgar Law. "This rubber fruit is really developed by him in various directions." Nami. "Did the red Luffy suddenly get bent over by our Luffy?" Roronoa Zoro. "Very likely. Luffy turned into a 4-legged beast, running around the Duangduang room at a super funny frequency." Puff. "Ahahaha. Nami has never seen such a funny side of Luffy, and the tears are spraying out of her nose." Chopper looks stupid, cross-species walking posture. It turns out that the way I walk is called a cross-species walking posture. Looking at Luffy's funny appearance, Chopper suddenly turned into a reindeer and followed Luffy Dwang to Dwang. "Ahaha. Ahahaha." Nami's laughter trembled wildly. She clutched her belly. She couldn't bear the laughter, she just sat on the ground. At this time, Luffy retracted his arms and stood up. He looked at Nami. "Nami, am I a monster?" "No, of course not. Even if the whole world opposes it, Nami will never say that Luffy is a monster." Luffy pouted at Chopper. "See? I also walk across species, but my partner never thinks I'm a monster." Partner. When hearing this word, Chopper's body trembled terribly. What an unattainable luxury this word is for him. Since he was born, he has a blue nose, even his parents hate him. When the reindeer herd moves, he always walks alone at the end of the team. One day he accidentally ate a devil fruit, and was considered a monster by everyone, and then he was kicked out of the reindeer herd. Although he can walk on 2 feet, humans also think it is a monster. From his birth to the present, only 2 people have accepted him, and one of them has died in 8 years. The word partner is both a luxury and a blow to Chopper. He changed back into a bipedal humanoid form, and said with a lonely face, "Yes, my partner won't think you are a monster, but I don't." Luffy shook his head immediately, and said seriously, "No. No one in this world is forever lonely. It's not that you don't have a partner, it's just that your partner hasn't appeared yet. If you don't mind, we can be your partner." Luffy reaches out to Chopper. Chopper was shocked in place. He looked at Luffy's hand, then at Luffy's sincere expression, and choked up in disbelief. You really want to be my partner?" "Of course. And me." Nami also came over. Ba stretched out Min. "What? More than one person wants to be my partner." Chopper at this moment is really excited. He felt that happiness came too suddenly. But the next moment, Chopper suddenly became emotionally depressed. He shook his head. No, no, you must still leave here. And I won't be the Dr. Kuriva immediately, we still can't be friends after all. Chopper really wants to have a partner, but he is also reluctant to leave Kuriva. He is very blue and thin. Mushroom, aha. What are you thinking? Who said partners must stay together? Even if we are not together, we can still be partners. Our partners on the ship, everyone has friends in their hometown too. W. Partners. It's good to be together, but even if we can't be together, even if we are far apart, we still care about each other. This is the meaning of a partner, Luffy explains with a smile. Is that so? After listening to what Luffy said, Yinba's eyes turned red. His two little hooves grabbed the hands of Luffy and Nami immediately, and then said timidly, we. Are we partners? Me. Monkey D. Luffy. I. Nami. Luffy and Nami called out their names one after another, and then looked at Zhao at the same time. D. Chopper was taken aback, and quickly said, Chopper. We will be partners from now on. At this moment, the warmth of the word partner suddenly enveloped Chopper. Hey. I said, why didn't Chopper go to meet me? Someone actually tried to abduct my reindeer while I was there. Suddenly, a figure appeared at the door. The hot 130-year-old medical lady Kuriva appeared at the door. Ah. Dr. Kuriva, they didn't abduct me, they became partners with me. Seeing that Kaleva is back, Chopper quickly explained. However, Kuriva didn't seem to want to listen to Chopper's explanation. She looked at Luffy and Nami. You don't want to get Chopper's attention. I won't sell my reindeer without 100 million berries. Kuriva just casually said a sky-high price that is enough to scare everyone away. Although there must be someone who can come up with 100 million Baileys, no one will be stupid enough to take 100 million Baileys to buy it all the time. Okay. Chopper, see off. After casually dismissing it, Kuriva ordered. But they brought their partner to see the doctor. Chopper looked very afraid of Kuriva, and explained timidly. See a doctor? Kuriva frowned, and then noticed Usopp lying on the operating table. Are you cured? Kuriva took a sip of her wine and looked at Chopper. Chopper nodded in fear like a child who made a mistake. Okay. Since Chopper is cured, let's charge you 100 million berries for the treatment. If you say this price, Kuriva will naturally not expect the other party to really give it. She just intentionally embarrassed Luffy and Nami. After all, in Kuriva's view, Chopper is very simple and easy to be deceived. It's only been a while, and I've already been tricked into becoming a partner. To deal with it must be malicious. Of course. The most likely thing is that you don't want to pay for medical expenses. Kuriva thinks her guess is very reasonable. 100 million berries for medical expenses, 100 million berries for Chopper purchase, 200 million berries in total. Luffy asked calmly. Kuriva originally wanted to see Luffy and Nami's embarrassed appearance, but she never expected that the other party would have such a serious tone. Hey. What does this guy want? Are you really willing to spend 200 million Baileys to pay medical bills and buy Chopper? Are you crazy? Suddenly, half of Kuriva's drunkenness was driven away, and she looked at Luffy in some astonishment. Hey, boy. Are you teasing this girl? Huh? Girl? Luffy and Nami are both dumbfounded. However, Kaleva looked like she was going to beat someone. Hey. What kind of expression do you guys have? She is a beautiful girl of 137 years old who is in her prime. Forehead. Luffy and Nami's faces are dripping with 3 puddles of sweat. Ahem. Well, let's say you have fewer beauties. Say it clearly. What does it mean? Okay, beautiful girl doctor. Let's continue talking about the 200 million berries just now, are you sure? Luffy asked. At this point, Kuriva really couldn't calm down. Nani? You really don't want to spend 200 million Baileys, do you? Luffy shook his shoulders. If you are willing to sell, I will buy it. Money is not worth mentioning in front of my partners. Chopper's first-hand medical skills can be regarded as conquering Luffy. The two get along for a short time, but it is not difficult for Luffy to judge that Chopper is a very suitable guy to be a partner. Gold is easy to get, but a suitable partner is hard to find. Kuriva frowned suddenly. This guy. Is he trying to deceive me on purpose? No. This girl can't be defeated in front of the 2 young babies. Suddenly, she raised her chin. Okay. You bring the money, and I'll sell it to you. Chopper was terrified. Ah. Dr. Kurova. Kaleva took a sip of wine. Look at what I am doing. 200 million Baileys. How many years do you have to earn by practicing medicine? You can go to sea with them in the future. Although she said so, Kurova doesn't believe that the two young people in front of her can spend so much money. Want to fool me? No way. We will see how you end up later. Monkey D. Luffy. Hey, so the chopper over there was sold to our ship? Usopp. Haha. Congratulations to Chopper, as soon as you get on the boat, you are worth 200 million Baileys. Tony Chopper. Definitely not. Dr. Kurova is not the kind of person who cares about money. Nico Robin. She should be sure that Luffy can't afford that much money, after all, who would spend 100 million Baileys to see a doctor, and spend your money to buy reindeer? Nami. Yeah. She obviously wanted to make things difficult for me and Luffy over there, but we didn't expect that we over there are very rich. Capone Beige. It's 200 million Baileys in one shot. The Straw Hat Kid over there is really generous. Jewelry Bonnie. 200 million Baileys, my god. Hey. I can't afford to eat so much money since I was born. He needs to spend 200 million berries to buy a pet. Ah, this damn rich man. Marco. Ha ha ha. Our dad spends 100,000 Baileys to search and search. Look at the Straw Hat Luffy over there. 200 million Baileys sprinkle water. Vista. Yeah, Dad, are you ashamed? Edward Newgate. Gu la 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 la, who made me poor? Luffy saw what Kaleva said, so she looked at Nami. Nami, you go to the boat to get some money. It's not that Luffy is playing the role of the captain and commanding Nami, but because Nami's slippery fruit ability is very suitable for running errands. On the matter of running and following, Nami says number 2, no one on the Mary dares to say number 1. Good. Nami went outside and slid down the mountain. When Nami came back, 2 big treasure chests were thrown in front of Kurova. Here are 200 million Baileys in total. Kaleva is a little unbelieving. She opened 2 treasure chests. What is so dazzling? For a while, she completely woke up from the alcohol. Is this a joke? Thick stacks of Baileys are real. People who have lived for more than 100 years can naturally tell that there are indeed as many as 200 million Baileys at a glance. Kurova walked up to Luffy, touched his forehead with her hand, and then murmured, "Weird. I don't even have a fever." Medical fees. Luffy stretches out his right hand and points to the treasure chest on the right. Chopper purchase fee. Luffy stretches out his left hand and points to the treasure chest on the left. This time. I can't fix Kurova. How could someone really be willing to spend 200 million berries to do this? What kind of family? Do you usually use Bailey as toilet paper at home? The chopper on the side obviously saw Kuriva's situation. He immediately said, Luffy, Nami, I am very happy to be your partner, but I can't leave Kuriva. Baby doctor. Take the money back. Your partner is my partner. I will treat him for free. Nonsense. But at this moment, Kuriva directly covered the 2 treasure chests. She pressed the back of Chopper's head and pushed forward. The transaction is successful. Ah. Dr. Kuriva, this is impossible. I won't leave you. Why? I only promised Xylaluke to take care of you for a while, but now someone offers you 200 million Baileys. I'm a fool not to sell you. No. I don't believe it. I don't believe your grandma. Get out. Ah. Woo. Chopper ran out sadly. Chopper. Seeing this, Nami hurriedly chased him out. Kaleva cheerfully carried the 2 big treasure boxes over, then looked back at Luffy. Why don't you go after Chopper? Luffy walked to the small bench next to him and sat down. What? I'm here. You're a beautiful girl in her 30s and you're embarrassed to cry, right? Kuriva pinched her nose hard, then bit her molars hard, to hold back her tears. Ah. You little brat. You are clearly only in your teens. Don't pretend to be old-fashioned in front of this girl. Angrily roared, Kuriva threw out a few knives in her hand. Luffy tilted his head casually, avoiding it easily. He said lightly, Actually, you are not willing to let Chopper leave. Why do you pretend to be cruel and treat him like that? It can't really be just for the sake of a momentary joke, right? Hee hee. Kid. You know what a fart. Stop pretending. Get out of here. Words. Kuriva waved her hand and made a gesture of seeing off the guests. Okay. Since you can't save face, I'll admit defeat. I'll get back 100 million berries, and Chopper will keep it. The remaining 100 million berries will be treated as my partner's medical expenses. Speaking, Luffy walked to Kuriva to get the treasure chest. Snapped. Kuriva reached out and hit Luffy on the wrist, then looked at Luffy seriously. She tried her best to suppress the tears in her eyes, and said in a deep voice, Chopper, I really sell it. Nami. Aha, really selling. Watching Kuriva's operation in the video, Nami was stunned. At first I thought that Kuriva said that on purpose just out of face, but I didn't expect that the red Luffy over there had already given him a step down, and he didn't go down. Frankie. No way. So, the Chopper over there was really sold on the boat. Capone hyphenation point beige. That's 200 million pele. Ordinary people can't earn this money for many years. Scarachi Manap. Ah. Tony Chopper. No. Dr. Kuriva will not sell me for money. No. You don't really want to sell. Facing Kuriva's words, Luffy shook his head, if you don't understand, I won't buy it. Hearing this, Kuriva sat directly on the treasure chest, gulping down 2 sips of wine. Long sigh. Kuriva said slowly, Chopper, kid. From the beginning of Chopper's birth, during which he was driven out of the ethnic group and could not integrate into human beings, and then he was taken in by Hiruruk, and then, cured, to death with poisonous mushrooms. Then follow her to study medicine. Hiruruk's dying wish is that Chopper can go to sea to see the world, and Chopper himself also wants to go to sea to find the miracle Sakura flower, that Hiruruk said, so Chopper must go to sea. Ku-Lay-Wa looked at Luffy and said. Luffy analyzed it a little bit, and felt that the credibility of this story is quite high. But it doesn't matter, I will find out later by going to the village at the foot of the mountain to inquire about it. Others may not know so many details, but others must know about Hiruruk's deeds. As for Chopper, there is no need to ask for proof, because since meeting Chopper, everything that Wei Zhang has done can only prove that he is a simple and kind guy. Luffy doesn't trust others easily, but he also doesn't like to speculate on others for no reason. At the beginning, I was so wary of Nami, mainly because Nami set up a villain image for Luffy. And Chopper is so pure and kind, Luffy will not maliciously speculate about him. Luffy looked at Kuriva. If you really want Chopper to go out to sea, then tell him clearly, why do you want to use this way? Didn't Chopper say it himself? He couldn't bear to leave me. Kaleva smiled wryly, and continued, since I adopted Chopper, I know that Chopper is very affectionate. So I have always been indifferent to him, because I am afraid that one day he will go to sea. He will miss me. Is that so? Luffy rubbed his chin, then raised a finger. There is one more problem. Even if you want Chopper to go to sea, but you don't know what kind of person I am, why are you willing to let Chopper go to sea with me? Is the toffee? Hee hee. Hearing this, Kuriva smiled and shook her head. He looked at Luffy. Chopper is just a reindeer. Now someone is willing to spend 200 million berries to buy him, someone who values him so much. How can you entrust someone who is not human? Seeing that Luffy wanted to speak, Kuriva raised her hand to signal Luffy to shut up. She continued. Taking a step back, even if you are really the kind of rich man who throws out 200 million berries like water, then even if you don't value Chopper so much, you can let Chopper follow you with a rich man like you. Life will only be more comfortable. Listening to Kuriva's explanation, Luffy raised his eyebrows slightly, then nodded vigorously with the corner of his mouth. Well said, well founded. So, Straw Hat Boy, can you take Chopper away now? Kuriva said in a deep voice. Ms. Kuriva. Suddenly, Jiba's cry came from the door. Kuriva immediately looked towards the door, and saw Chopper standing there in a daze, with tears streaming from his eyes. The corner of Kuriva's mouth twitches. Hiding the truth for so many years, but suddenly broke the news. Ms. Kuriva. Chopper rushed in, threw herself into Kuriva's arms, hugged her, and cried bitterly. Why? Looking at Chopper, who acted like a baby, Kuriva was silent for a moment, then let go of the wine bottle, and put her hand on Chopper's head, because tears came out of the eyes. Kuriva looked at Luffy unhappily. Boy. I have never cried in front of Chopper. Ah ha ha. Luffy laughed, and sat down leaning on 2 treasure chests, holding the back of his head with both hands, leaning against the wall, watching this scene cheerfully. Time flies, days and weeks have passed. At the port of Magnetic Drum Island, the Mary leaves the port. Kuriva stands on the port. Chopper stands on the deck. The 2 wave hands and look at each other with tears in their eyes. Actually, there is one thing that Kuriva didn't say about the reason for letting Chopper on board. That's when she saw Luffy's hat, she thought of someone. Roger. However, there is no need for Kaleva to say this matter. She has lived a long time, so she doesn't want to care about those things. The only thing she cares about now is Chopper has a real partner. The red framed video is here, and the picture gradually dims. Seeing Chopper boarding the boat, everyone in the Straw Hat Pirates felt relieved. Not long after, the white framed video gradually brightens up. The screen appears. The Straw Hat Pirates successfully arrived at Alabasta after leaving Drum Island. After some arguments, the Straw Hat Pirates finally decided to go straight to the Rainy Land to find Crocodile. According to Luffy's words, as long as you knock Crocodile away, the matter will be solved. However, as soon as they arrived in the Rainy Land, Luffy and his party met the Marine led by Smoker. After a chase, they rushed into the Rain Banquet Casino. Several members of the Straw Hat Pirates fell into Crocodile's trap with Smoker. Originally they were going to die, but Sanji succeeded in saving them by relying on tricks. When coming out of the water, Zoro also pulled Smoker up, otherwise Smoker would die there. Capone Beige. Am I not mistaken? Zoro from the Straw Hat Pirates actually rescued that Marine? Roronoa Zoro. It's just a matter of convenience. Jewelry Bonnie. Is this a smooth thing? That old Smoker just now looked like he was going to kill you all. Shouldn't you take the opportunity to give him a knife? Roronoa Zoro. Even if you want to kill him, you should defeat him openly, not like this. Gecko Moria. He got caught if he didn't save him here. Sir Crocodile. What are you talking about? Who caught me? Sengoku. Ahem. How can there be so much nonsense watching a video? Sengoku quickly interrupted the conversation between the two. Regarding the Straw Hat Pirates saving Alabasta, in order to beautify Marine and vilify the pirates, Marine declared that it was Smoker who led Marine to capture Crocodile. As for the Straw Hat Pirates, they were described as pirates who passed by Alabasta and escaped while taking advantage of the chaos. Originally, this method of controlling fish was commonplace for Marine, but I never thought that there would be such a movie viewing system, which would keep everything that happened to the Straw Hat Pirates intact. The playback came out. A group of Straw Hat Pirates is heading towards the capital Albana on the big crab of the moving club. On the way, Crocodile suddenly appeared and hooked Princess Vivi with a golden hook. Luffy has quick eyes and quick hands, and immediately grabbed the golden hook and rescued Princess Vivi, but she fell off the big crab. Luffy and Crocodile then engage in battle. Crocodile took out an hourglass and gave Luffy 3 minutes. Luffy tried his best to smash the crocodile into sand, but only hit 0 damage. Luffy performed like a tiger with 1 pass, and finally the hourglass time was up. Crocodile hooked Luffy immediately. Throwing bloody Luffy into quicksand, Crocodile turned into a gust of wind and sandstorm and left. Kuzan. Without armament hockey, it's useless in front of Logia. Gion. Yes. If it were the red Luffy over there, the sand crocodile wouldn't be so arrogant. Gold D. Roger. That's not a matter of being arrogant or not, but a matter of how to beg for mercy. Sir Crocodile. Although the red Luffy over there is very strong, I am not an unknown person. Don't underestimate me. Don Quixote da Flamingo. Fooferfer. Then look forward to your performance in the red frame video later. Gecko Moria. Didn't you kill Luffy here? Why is Luffy still alive? Sir Crocodile. According to that situation, he must die. Now I also want to know why he is still alive. After Crocodile left, Luffy slowly sank into the quicksand. Just when he was about to be completely swallowed by the quicksand, several arms suddenly emerged from Luffy's body, supporting his head. After waiting for a while, these arms turned Luffy out of the quicksand. Thanks. Luffy looked at Robin motionlessly, gritted his teeth and spoke. Robin also looked at Luffy. She stared at it for a while, then suddenly asked. Faced with this situation, why do you still dare to fight the sand crocodile? You guys with the name, D, what special significance does it have? Robin asked calmly. However, Robin obviously didn't get the answer to the second. Because Luffy didn't understand what she was saying at all. Then, Bell, the captain of the Alabasta Palace Guard, appeared. Robin threw Luffy to Bell and left by himself. Sir Crocodile. Sure enough. Nico Robin, you really are a guy who is good at betrayal. Don Quixote Doflamingo. Fooferfer. The son of the devil. If she didn't know how to betray, she would have died already. Trafalgar Law. It turned out that Robin was in charge. Kid Eustace. She is in the Straw Hat Pirates right now. So, she will betray the Straw Hat Pirates in the future, right? Monkey D. Luffy. Hey, prickly man. Don't talk nonsense, Robin won't betray us. Kid Eustace. You stupid monkey. I'm too lazy to talk nonsense with you. Nico Robin. I will never betray again. Ever since the Enies lobby battle, Robin's heart has been firmly tied to the Straw Hat Pirates. Especially when he yelled the words, I want to live, from the Enies lobby tower. From that moment on, Robin has been completely transformed. The former betrayer is dead, and the current Straw Hat Pirates are reborn. Sir Crocodile. Hee hee, you have betrayed so many people, who would believe you? Monkey D. Luffy. I believe. Nami. I put my hands up for Robin. Vin Smoke Sanji. I support Robin with both hands and feet. Roronoa Zoro. Robin will not betray us. The members of the Straw Hat Pirates expressed solidarity with Robin. Crocodile led the Baroque studio to the capital Albana. He took control of King Cobra and waited on the roof of the palace for the war between the rebels and the king's army. For him, if he can't enjoy the beginning scene of this kind of battle that he personally facilitated, it's a very boring job. But at this moment, Bell, who has the bird fruit ability, came with Luffy. Luffy rushed to the roof of the kingdom alone after meeting his companions, and fought Crocodile again. This time Luffy came prepared and carried a bucket of water. Use water to cover yourself, or spray on Crocodile, causing effective damage to Crocodile. At the beginning, Crocodile was caught off guard, and Kakuzu was bleeding from the mouth that was beaten by Luffy. But as the battle unfolded, Luffy's water was gradually exhausted. Crocodile grabbed Luffy's neck, and used the ability of Sand Fruit to instantly absorb the water in Luffy's body. Plus, this way of dying is not bad for you. Looking at Luffy in his hand like a dry hemp rope, Crocodile sneered and threw Luffy off the roof. Sorry. I have to hurry. After throwing Luffy, before Luffy hit the ground, Crocodile turned around and turned into a blast of sand, drifting towards the royal garden. Gecko Moria. Sucked dry? Shouldn't this time be dead? What's going on here? Smoker. Did someone here save Straw Hat Luffy again? Sir Crocodile. How would I know? After Crocodile floated away, Luffy fell to the ground. He looks like a dry mummy, lifeless. But at this moment, the last mouthful of water he spit out just now fell from the sky. Snapped. This saliva just fell into his mouth. Puff. Luffy's body became plump in an instant. He took a deep breath and shouted, "It's so dangerous." It almost turned into jerky. Sand hyphenation point Crocodile. That's okay. When he learned the reason why Luffy didn't die here from the video, Crocodile was going to die of anger. If it wasn't for Luffy, his Utopia battle plan would have been completed. Then he might be building Pluton now, with plans for world domination. Don Quixote Doflamingo. Fooferferfer. This is the importance of making up the knife. The red Luffy over there understands this truth, but you Sand Crocodile doesn't understand. Gecko Moria. You deserve it. Damn it. If you make up here, you idiot, this Straw Hat Luffy won't be in my place. I lost so much, you stupid Crocodile should be more than half of the responsibility. Sir Crocodile. F*K you dicks. Don't talk about the last knife. Can that sip of water restore him to the original? This is too outrageous. Seeing Luffy's resurrection in the video, Crocodile is almost cursing. At least the water he sucked out of Luffy's body was at least half of Luffy's body weight. Result. Just a sip of water. Just let Luffy resurrect in situ? Is this F*King reasonable? Don't even talk about the basic principles. Capone hyphenation point beige. Indeed, that small sip of water suddenly recovered, it's an exaggeration. Does Luffy in the Straw Hat have any special constitution? Trafalgar Law. Maybe it's the rubber fruit? Monkey D. Luffy. It's possible. Luffy herself is also confused. Can. Alabasta Royal Garden, Underground, Funeral Hall. Crocodile and Nico Robin brought King Cobra here. When Luffy found Crocodile again, Crocodile was dumbfounded. Why is it you again? Why are you still alive? Crocodile's face showed a gritted teeth. Killed the Straw Hat Luffy twice in a row, but the other party is still alive. The key is, he is still chasing after him like a ghost. Whoever does this will collapse. Paluzolino. Woo, this collapsed expression, laughing at the dead. Rox D. Zebek. Ha ha ha, Gecko Moria. Hey he, crash. Don Quixote da Flamingo. The eyeballs of the sand crocodile are bloodshot, fur. Shaggy. It's really a poor little crocodile. Why do you feel a little sympathetic to him, he. This time Luffy didn't bring water, but he was covered in blood. Relying on the coagulation of blood to sand, Luffy finally succeeded in taking down Crocodile. Crocodile's conspiracy failed, and Alabasta was successfully rescued. East Port of Alabasta, Tamalisk, Colonel Smoker made a phone call. The voice of the World Marine official came from the other end of the phone clearly. This is a battle to catch crocodiles. Your Excellency and Captain Tashigi have made remarkable achievements. The high-level government decided to award the 2 medals. The ranks of the other 2 will also be raised by 1 level. When the Marine official said this, the chat room immediately exploded. Charlotte Linlin. Nani. Don't you hear me right? What I said on the phone just now is that those Marines caught the sand crocodile? Edward Newgate. Gu la. You heard it right, it's not a day or 2 for Marine in the world's government to be shameless, and it's not ordinary material to be able to do such a thing. Sir Crocodile. Nani? How did I get caught by Marine? Crocodile suddenly thought of what Moria said when Smoker was caught in the previous video. If he is not rescued, how can he catch the sand crocodile? He was about to ask, but was interrupted by Sengoku. Now that I think about it, it turned out that Sengoku was covering up his ugliness at the time. Rox D. Zebek. Ha ha ha. It's really an eye-opener. Even if our pirates are cruel, it's all on the bright side. Marine and Shigeya Jungfu are all so dark rubbing the tricks. Jewelry Bonnie. If there were no Straw Hat pirates, Alabasta should have broken out in a national war, with death and injury everywhere, and became a purgatory on Earth, right? As a result, the Straw Hat pirates obviously saved so many people, but because the world government secretly played bad things, it caused this credit goes to Marine. Trafalgar Law. The world government has never been a good product. My country was also destroyed because the world government deliberately concealed the poison of lead and platinum. Shiki. Where's Sengoku? Hey, I'll just ask you, you Marines are shameless. Shiki. Sengoku? Why didn't you speak? Have you no face to speak? Sakazuki. Pirate Corpse. Why are you so arrogant? When is it your turn to point out when Marine is doing something? Sengoku. HMPH. This decision was also for the sake of the common people. Didn't you think about it? If the common people have trust in the pirate group because of the Straw Hat pirates, then next time another group of vicious when the pirates land in Alabasta, they may bring huge disasters to the people of Alabasta. Gold D. Roger. Nani. You can wash like this. Sengoku, you were really the king of the thick-skinned world. Edward Newgate. Goo. Catch a crocodile. Hey, wait. Listening to the reward order from the phone bug, Smoker looked confused, and he immediately asked, Hey, did you guys read my report carefully? Damn it. Defeat the crocodile and Baroque Work Club. It's the Straw Hat crew. Those pirates. Hina on the side said in a deep voice. Don't waste your efforts, Smoker. Since the world government has done this, it is impossible to change it. Do you think the world government will admit that it is a group of pirates who solved the Alabasta subjugation crisis? The other end of the phone bug seems to be unable to hear Smoker's anger, and continues to say, therefore, please invite the 2 naval headquarters to participate in the medal awarding ceremony. Smoker's complexion suddenly became black as ink. As Smoker's contemporaneous and close friend, Hina knows Smoker very well. When he saw Smoker's expression, he immediately realized how stabbing this guy was going to make. Hina hurriedly shouted to remind Smoker, don't be stupid. It's no good to fight against the high level. Hurry up and accept the commendation order. Just treat it as a zero reward for helping those pirates. Hearing this, Smoker turned his head to look at Hina, and said in a self-deprecating tone, help the Straw Hat crew to receive the reward. Hee, where am I qualified? Then, he said coldly to the phone bug, hey, can you tell those old guys in the upper echelon for me? What? The phone bug asked in confusion. Let them eat shit. Smoker's voice echoes on the screen, here. The screen with white borders gradually dimmed. Naval Headquarters, Marineford. At this time, countless Marine soldiers are watching this scene. Hiss. When Smoker yelled, let them eat shit, all the Marines on the battlefield couldn't help gasping. He. How dare. My God. This is the first time I saw someone who dared to disobey the orders of their superiors, and it was such an explosive disobedience. Hey. This guy is called Smoker, right? Damn, he will be my idol from now on. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I would never have believed that there was such a fierce guy in our Marine. It's so arrogant. He did something that I wanted to do in my life but didn't dare to sit. A man has blood until death. Especially those in the system, who cannot be rebellious when they are called around by people who are one level higher than themselves all day long. When their superiors yell at them, who hasn't imagined spraying them back? But who would dare to do that? Now someone has done this, and they are still doing it so arrogantly. And through the screen directly to a live broadcast from all over the world. In an instant, Smoker attracted countless fans. Shiki. Wow. I'm so damn rich. Who is this kid? He's too aggressive, jahahahaha. Ochaku. As a pirate, I think the way he spoke just now is ridiculously handsome. Gold D. Roger. Ha ha ha. It seems that there are some shameless people in Marine. Sengoku, this Marine is a good lesson for you. Rox D. Zebek. It's useless. Such a person can't get a high-level job in Marine. Monkey D. Long. If all Marines are people who can distinguish between right and wrong, there will be no revolutionary army in this world at all. Paluzalino. Woo, this kid is fierce. Sakazuki. Hey, find out what's going on. Is this the time to say this? A fool who can't even strictly follow orders from his superiors doesn't deserve to wear the Marine Justice cloak. Sakazuki was very angry when I saw that Smoker dared to openly contradict his boss in the video. Now I saw that Kizaru was so forceful that he gave back to Smoker regardless of the occasion. Sakazuki was furious, and directly scolded Smoker in the chat room. Smoker. Don't think that you are a Marine Admiral and you can judge my justice. If you have to reverse right and wrong, you are an idiot who is not worthy of wearing the cloak of justice. Smoker is not vegetarian, although the strength is limited, but the temper is very big. Those who dare to contradict the world's government officials can give you admiral face. This time, Sakazuki was blown away. Sakazuki. Bastard. You are just a little commodore, dare to contradict me. Are you looking for death? Smoker. Just a self-righteous idiot. Sengoku, shut up. Isn't it embarrassing enough? Seeing that his admiral and commodore were about to fight in the chat room, Sengoku quickly stopped it. If the trouble continues, Marine will really become a big joke. Shiki. Don't stop, keep going, we're all watching. Gold D. Roger. It's a pity that there are no melon seeds, otherwise I would move a small bench and watch while eating melon seeds. Wouldn't it be more interesting than watching movies? Edward Newgate. Google la la la. Right now. The red frame video slowly lights up, the screen appears. Luffy and his party leaving Magnetic Drum Island. According to the nautical chart, the next destination is Alabasta. These days, Luffy is teaching Chopper how to practice armament hockey. As for Chopper's devil fruit development, Luffy really didn't understand, so he didn't intervene. Luffy. Come out and have a look, there is a situation. Usopp's voice comes from outside. Luffy comes to the deck. Usopp and Zoro are there. They are standing at the bow, staring at the front. What's wrong? Luffy came to the two of them. Here. Look over there. There is a diving boat. There is also a person standing on the top of the boat, as if performing acrobatics. Zoro points to the front right. Usopp crossed his hands, and also said in a mocking tone, "Yes. It's such a cold day. Obviously there is a cabin in the cabin, but still standing on the water. I guess my brain is not good." After a year of training in Little Garden, the observation haki of Zoro and Usopp are both above the intermediate level. Just now when they saw a person standing on the sea in front of them, they froze for a moment. Then their observation haki immediately sensed that there was a huge diving boat in the water under the man's feet. If they don't have observation haki, they will definitely be shocked to see this scene at this time. But because their observation haki found the other party's boat, and then looked at the person standing on the water, I felt that the other party was a bit idiot. Usopp. When we saw this scene, we were really stupefied. Roronoa Zoro. Yeah, it's different with observation haki. Monkey D. Luffy. Haki is so important. There is a huge difference in haki's reaction to things. Nico Robin. Hee, everyone has to work hard. At this time, the diving boat quickly floated to the surface of the sea. The person standing on the water was suddenly pushed into the air by the floating diving boat. It turned out that he was standing on the watchtower at the top of the mast. Walala. Then, the diving boat like a big ball opened up. As if it is a blooming flower, it has become a form suitable for sailing on the water. Wow, ha ha ha. I scared you. We are a large diving surprise sailing ship, the Iron Barrel. We are white iron pirates. Suddenly there was a burst of laughter from this ship. As the skeleton flag fluttered, a large number of people jumped from the opposite ship to the Mary. They picked up their weapons one by one and aimed at Luffy, Zoro and Usopp. Then, a fat man wearing a plush coat in the shape of a hippopotamus jumped over. "Are there only 3 of you on board?" Wapol swallowed the piece of meat in his hand, and even bit off the fork stuck in the piece of meat. Luffy, Zoro and Usopp also have Luffy's stunned expression. Does this guy have such good teeth? While Luffy, Zoro and Usopp were still in a daze, Wapol opened his mouth and bit the next mast. Luffy's observation haki immediately sensed what Wapol wanted to do. His arms stretched instantly, and when he appeared in front of Wapol, his fingers immediately became longer too. The elongated fingers grab Wapol's upper and lower lips directly, and then squeeze hard. Wapol's upper teeth and lower teeth were smashed together. Luffy pulled hard, knocked Wapol to the ground, and said coldly, "You're looking for death." After all, it was the first time we met, and Luffy didn't know what kind of person the other party was, so I wanted to exchange a few words. However, just now Wapol actually wanted to bite the mast of the Mary, and Luffy suddenly had a killing intent at this moment. Breaking someone's mast at sea. What's the difference between killing someone? In addition, Luffy has promised that as long as he is still alive, he will definitely protect the Mary. Wapol's mouth is directly killing his strength.